Hi, good morning, everybody. I hope y'all are doing good today. My name is Eunice. I'm council member for the 1st District. And I want to start off by saying thank you to our PSRs who are here and our fire department dispatchers
Hello,
who are
everyone.
here. Today
What up,
is,
everybody?
the
That's a
beginning
live
of
one. Finally,
Dispatchers
they get to
Appreciation
work.
Week, and I had the privilege of being able to tour where our PSRs work right across the street. And if you haven't gone, you need to go, because I was told I was the 3rd politician to go since it was built, and that says something, y'all. So I invite y'all to go check out where
Yes,
they
that's
work.
Moss.
They do the work of responding and making sure the resources get there, and like people's moments of most need, of most despair, but also like really exciting moments.
Most
And so
despair,
I
most
think it's
need,
important
most
that the people who answer when you
nah.
need help get celebrated and uplifted in this space.
There's my
Every
homeboy
year
in
during
the
the second
green.
week of April, dispatchers across the country are honored for their hard work and
Masked
service to their
up.
communities. For this year's National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, I want to uplift our 911 dispatchers here, right in City Hall, and also our firefighter dispatchers as well, because they respond not only to the 1st District, but across our city. When we think about fires, when we think about the rainstorms, they are the first responders to these issues. When people call 911 for help, they come and they respond. They are the backbone to our public safety response infrastructure, and it is our responsibility to make sure that they have the resources and support they need to continue to do this difficult
Rumble's
work.
not on, Terry.
Many
I don't
of
know
them,
why
and
it's
I'm gonna make a
fucking
plug
around
because I
again
think it's
and
important.
didn't want to go
Many
live.
of them
so.
have to work overtime constantly. Many of them
Kick
do not
should
get
be
paid
on.
enough. This sector of work do not get paid enough on both ends.
Kick's
and so
on.
I just want to uplift that in this moment.
know that.
In the moment of crises, that the folks who respond to that, also deserve thriving wages, and that they deserve a break and time off.
So why
and
don't you
mental health
take your
support
money and
the
give it
things
to
that'll help
them?
thrive
So
and
they can have
retain
more
this
thriving
job.
wages.
Today, I'm
You wouldn't do
honored to
that,
stand
though.
alongside these dispatchers and my colleagues, my colleague Tim McCosker. We have Carlos M. Calvillo, the Assistant Chief of Metropolitan Fire Communications at the Los Angeles Fire Police Department, the Los Angeles Fire Department. We
Doesn't
also
even
have
understand.
the Assistant Chief Dominic Choi of the LAPD, and Deborah Ramsey, the Senior Police Service
Gotta read
Representative.
everything from
our
the phone,
PSRs,
nothing
our
from the
911
heart.
Of the Communication Division at LAPD.
I'm a robot.
As well
This
as
is what
dispatchers
I
from both
wrote to
divisions.
tell
We thank
them
you for
because
answering
I
the calls
can't
of
speak
Angelinos
from
all
the
across
heart
city,
ever.
and we commend you for your service that you do every day, all day.
It's really
every day
hard
for
to say
our
I commend
community.
you for all your
I would
great
like to
work
invite,
throughout the fucking year without
I wanna
looking
invite
at
my
your phone
colleague,
every
Tim
2
McCosker, to say a
seconds.
few words, and then I'd also like to invite our dispatchers to share a few words about the work that they do. Thank you.
Thank God.
Thank you.
Let's get her off her phone. Wait, we're clapping for her now?
Thank my colleague.
Was that what the clap was for? Or
inviting
for
me to speak
the
at
real
this
heroes
very
sitting behind
thoughtful,
her and around her?
Moment.
Sure is it?
You all know that I wear in my sleeve that many of my family members depend upon the dispatchers and the folks that make that first call over the course of a career of a firefighter.
We all do, Tim. Stop making it about
is
you.
Critically important that they get that call and they get it accurately.
The whole city does, Tim.
I'm so grateful
Including
that
your
my
family,
father and
yes.
my
Stop
brothers,
making it about
have
you.
been protected by the great work that you all do. I will also say I'm very aware that you speak to people that we care for very much, our constituents.
At least this guy isn't reading off his phone.
Often their worst day, their worst moment of their life. And I appreciate the stress and the strain
Thank you,
and
Jim.
the care and the attention that you give to our city family. And so I agree with my colleague, and I think I agree with everyone.
See, how
on this
hard is it
council
to just
that
read?
we
I mean,
are
just to
indebted
talk.
you. We appreciate you very much.
No phone.
I
No
am
paper.
looking forward to the open house today. We're going to come on by and visit you at the open house. So thank
Not
you
hard.
very much. Thank you for your service. And,
Not hard.
And God bless you in your work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now you come back in again. Oh, great. Jesus. Fuck.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Captain Alex Vargas. I'm the Commanding Officer of Communications Division, and I want to thank the council for recognizing the hard work of our PSRs. As you know, for really quickly, we handle 3.5 million incoming calls to the 911 centers, which our dispatch are required to handle within 20 seconds.
3.5 million.
If you include the outcoming
That's
calls,
just
it's about
LAPD.
over 3 million calls.
Yeesh.
We also, they're required to go to the diversion program, the unarmed response. And last year, we diverted 5,000 calls to Urban Alchemy, 1,200 to D.D. Hirsch, 211, 311, close to a.
They made
1,000,
cutbacks,
and then
Kevin.
the course program,
Didn't
7,000
completely
calls
defund
we
them.
diverted. That's a savings and of money and responses from our officers. So I want to thank the hard work of our PSRs. They not only deserve.
Sorry, Michael. That's why you got to follow me at more than one place, bud.
52 weeks of recognition.
Even if you don't go over there, just follow me at another
Katie?
place.
Katie?
So it'll tell you. And then you can go wherever you want to go. Oh, he's on. And then you'll see how many times YouTube's boning you.
My name is Debbie Ramsey. I'm a PSR. I've been a PSR for 27 years. Not much of a public speaker, so this is almost my biggest nightmare.
You're better than the chick behind you.
But over my 27 years, I've seen quite a bit of change. When I first started the job, we were actually working underneath City Hall East. We had 2 screens, a radio keyboard where we would dial up channels. We actually used a pen to write our notes on paper.
Hi, Kat.
And we answered landline calls.
Oh, Stinks is in the front room.
Now, fast forward, we're handling
Watching the kitty cat. I mean, I'm
millions
watching the
of
birdies
calls, including
fly by.
cell phone calls. We're getting messages via text. We have 6 screens, 2 keyboards, a dynamic mapping system. So things have changed a little bit. But one of the things I take the most pride in is the work that the operators do.
Beep. They gave her the beep.
Specialized
You're
units
done,
that
chick.
is
Sit
taking
down.
those calls and the heart that goes in it, the dedication, the professionalism, just
Smash
working
it or pass it,
under
I'll definitely
very
pass 'em.
challenging conditions, and
All
our
3 of 'em.
operators do it better than anyone.
It's more for you to smash.
Thank you so much for recognizing them during this week. Just to echo Captain Vargas, if we could do it every week, 52 weeks a year, we would. But thank you again for recognizing us. Appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Avlis. I'm even worse than this. I'm scared. But I wrote it down for you. So, hi, I wanted to start off.
Must
and
be
thank
related
our
to her.
members for inviting us. I really appreciate you guys.
Well,
taking
she read
us
off her votes.
to,
I can
make sure
too.
that we are recognized. I want to say
Just
I am
speak
a
from the
proud
heart, girl.
resident of LA, Council District 12.
You know you're the president. You know your name.
I'm a graduate of El Camino College.
You know that.
Excuse me, El Camino Real High School
She-
in Woodland
she
Hills.
doesn't even
and
know.
I've worked for the city for the past 10 years. The past 5 years that I've worked for this, did I say 10? I apologize.
My
I've
God,
worked
she
for
doesn't
the
even know her own
city
life
for
story.
These past 5 years,
She's
I've
trying to
worked
read her
with
own life story and doesn't know
amazing
it.
People. We're all really diverse and come from different backgrounds, and I think that really is what helps us be some of the best
There you
civilian
go. You're
workers
doing
in
it,
this whole
girl.
city.
You're doing it.
We really
You're
take
just speaking
what
from the
we
heart
have
right now.
learned in our own lives,
Do it.
bring it back, and work as a team when it hits the fan. So I wanted to say thank you guys.
No, don't go
so
down to the
much.
phone. Put the phone in the
Also,
pocket.
past
You were
12
doing
months,
good.
I have had a partner with Brandy Holly. She is my partner in the Community Relations Unit. And we go out and talk to communities about recruitment, 911 education in the classroom, and the proper usage of 911. So I just want to say thanks to Bran. Like I said earlier, okay, our success is directly correlated to our diversity in this workplace.
No, they're
So I'm
patting
really
each other on the
just
back,
proud to
John.
be
This
able
is
to
a
do
pat
what I
on the
do
back
every day,
moment.
And thank you guys again for your time and listening.
That's what this is right here. But I do agree. The dispatchers do deserve a lot of praise. They don't get
Morning,
any.
My name's Carlos.
They deserve a lot of it.
Chief From Metro Fire Communications.
Okay?
Wanted
We
to
won't
thank
see that
everyone
cop or that
for,
firefighter or that paramedic if it weren't for those men and women that answer those phones.
Thank Councilmember Park and also Rodriguez.
So there is
Two of
that.
them at different times have all
She
come to
chomping
our
her gum, I
center
didn't even
and
notice.
Really took a deep interest in what we're doing.
Did she
and
have
we're
gum in her
asking all
mouth?
the right questions. Basically, what's happening behind the curtain. You know, we've got resources out in the field, and it's the very sexy part of what we do for business, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes when someone calls 911 and it goes through the Pachinko machine and resources show up.
The
to,
pachinko machine.
take care of it. It's really an incredible system.
Those little
and systems
Chinese
that make it all work.
pinball games,
I want to
slot
acknowledge
machines.
My partner over here, Chief Valle, sitting up front right here. He's 37 years with the department. He's going to be retiring in
Jeez,
August.
37
Tremendous
years.
leader. He really
There you
makes
go.
sure that the day in and day out business of MFC is at the highest level possible, and I want to thank him for his efforts and everything he's done for me.
Dude in the front
Also
row's
wanna
got kind of an
acknowledge
Edgar in the
Edgar
middle.
Roddy, another one of our new captains.
an older
here,
Edgar.
but served at MFC for probably a couple decades and is now just promoted to captain, and his last several months on the job. Just a tremendous individual. I'm so thankful I get to work with both of them. I also want to acknowledge a couple of our members.
Get it, Robert.
Butler and Eddie Mata Morris.
Let's get it.
Just between the two of them. If you
smoke like I smoke,
smoke. Calls just in the last year. Tremendous amount of hours. All these members throughout COVID and then with the staffing shortages, some of these members didn't go home for well over a month. Force hiring and pushing them to work extraordinary hours and really a tremendous amount of work that all these members do. I'm really proud to be here to speak about them. We have very simple core values at MFC.
He's still on the
Be
phone, my
kind,
homeboy.
one of them. Just
I want to know who he's talking to.
get the customers, treat them. Let's not treat them with prejudice. Let's not have judgment against them.
That
Let's
mask
be
is
kind
pretty
to
big.
them,
Does
let's be kind to each other.
cover her entire
Let's be
face, but her
professional.
eyes and
Within
her
the environment we
fucking
work in,
forehead.
let's have an environment where our members
3
are
inches more, and that's it.
able to learn, gain knowledge, experience, and hopefully promote up through the department. Be accountable to each other. Be accountable to the customers we serve, and to be collaborative with you.
You know, it's crazy. It's crazy to be that frightened and to be that ignorant. To think that that little piece of fabric, which you probably bought on a street corner for $2 from the homie on the corner, is going to save your life. When the maker of the best mask in the world, 3M, you know that company, it's pretty big. It's only worth about $1 trillion. They make an N95 mask that everyone was rushing to get, which only stops 95%. Stops 95% of the particulates in the air. So you still have 5% particulate getting through that mask. That's the top of the line one. So what do you think that one's doing for her? Nothing but covering her fucking face. So all it's doing is covering her face, which might be a good thing.
Good morning, everyone. Stephanie Seavery. I am a firefighter paramedic and brand new dispatcher to Metro Fire Communications. We want to
Yes,
sincerely
particulates.
thank each and every one of you for recognizing us today in this very important week.
You know,
Again,
particles.
we truly thank you, and we are honored
Minute,
to
microscopic,
serve the citizens of Los Angeles. Appreciate it.
Floating objects.
Thank you so much. Please stand to be recognized.
Oh, please stand to
we
be
would like
recognized. Let me
provide
read on
you
my
some
phone.
certificates of appreciation on behalf of the city of Los Angeles. Can all of you rise and join us here, please? On both sides. We'd like to give you some certificates.
I'll rise for them, but I'm not rising
Thank
right
you
now.
so much. Come on.
They deserve to be risen.
And we do have members on the queue, Councilmember Hernandez, so no one leave.
Yes.
Because we do have some members who want to acknowledge our
Yes,
great
come on in.
PSRs as well.
Everybody, come on in.
Come on
Please,
in.
Everybody, join me in recognizing our responders during National 911 Telecommunications Week. Please join me in recognizing them. Come on in.
All right, and I would like next
Oh,
to call
Pupper's
on
pad right there.
Councilmember
Slip some.
Rodriguez.
A little puppy right there. Slip.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me give him a second to grab a seat. I want to be able to look at all these
Now,
folks.
why do we have to hear you guys talk before and then at the end you got to talk again? Why don't you just wait till the end?
To our firefighters at dispatch, to our PSRs, I want to say thank you very much for always showing up to do one of the most difficult jobs that there is to do in the whole package of what
MILF
we have
specs?
to respond to with respect to public
Is
safety.
she a MILF?
I've been to dispatch many times, looking at the citywide map when our rescues are all deployed, and you know that next 911 call is going to come in, seeking an emergency medical response or whatever the circumstances are. We know how oversubscribed many of our services are. It's why we're working so diligently to try and help remediate that by getting additional staffing, hiring accelerated, but more importantly, creating a bonus structure that will help provide some of the accelerated interest for people to take on these responsibilities. Because it is one of the most traumatic experiences, I think, of being amongst all the different functions and roles that you have in dispatch. Hearing the fear of the person who's calling, seeking that response in that moment is probably one of the most traumatic things that you have to navigate from a phone call. And to what was indicated about how technology has evolved. Technology has evolved in such a way that you can, in a moment's notice, see what deployment looks like and what remains available. And that has got to add additional stress and
Sorry about that, guys. Just kidding.
what are we going to do in these
Phone
moments.
calls and stuff
So I
coming
wanna
in.
stand up and celebrate and recognize each of you for your contributions. You know, I guess it was about a week and a half ago, many of us were in Washington, D.C. With National League of Cities On
Guys
the
are
flight
crazy.
back, I ran into a former PSR. Our
Whoever calls her a
beloved
MILF should be
council-
banned from the
congresswoman,
chat. Well,
Mona
everybody likes
Torres,
different things.
who reminded me about how this week was coming.
I've heard a few people
And
like her
I just
say
wanna
she was
say
a
thank you
smoke
so
show when
much
she
to
was
my
a kid.
colleagues for bringing you all
You know,
in
when
here
she
to
was
give you
probably
the
20.
proper recognition and celebration that you deserve for being in the roles that you're in. But
Well, I don't know how old
more
she is now. I,
importantly, to
you know,
make
we
sure,
can only
I
assume.
want you all to know how aggressively
probably in her
this
50s.
council is working
You know.
to incent more people applying to serve in your roles. Because we understand how stretched our resources are.
Glasses to hide the
uh,
demon
to,
eyes. Well, I don't know. They ain't hiding
to
much.
Bill's point,
Well,
you
if
know,
anything, they make the demon
we
eyes
know
look
that
bigger.
They've been working endless amounts of hours, force hired, in these circumstances because of the strain in staffing resources. And so we're working diligently to help rectify that. But I just want to say thank you so much for your service.
She's a
you
sweet
know,
piece
not
of
just as
fuck
the daughter
bearing
of a
pie.
firefighter, but as the chair of public safety, as an Angelino who appreciates that there have been circumstances where I had to make that call. And I know how critically important it is to have someone on the other side that answers that call, that
What's up,
can
Maroonster?
respond with a sense of calm, dispatching the appropriate resources, and helping to maintain a level of comfort.
The
in one
lenses
of
travel
those
through time.
most frightening circumstances that one might be calling on. So thank you all for your service.
Thank you, God. Can we get down to the
And,
brass tacks and
thank
business
you.
now?
Thank you to Councilmember Hernandez and Councilmember McCosker for recognizing National Public Safety Telecommunications Week and our extraordinary employees of this city who save lives, not every day, by the minute. And Councilmember Hernandez, you're right. If anybody here has not visited the dispatch
Not that
centers,
I know of, Lobster.
most of the,
I mean, you had the mayor,
council
but
members
she
who've
doesn't
been
do
here
any
for
work.
prior, open houses have visited.
Please.
If you have not,
You're
you
just
need
strutting
to
her
see,
around to show her
these
off. She
extraordinary
doesn't do anything.
professionals
She hasn't
in
done a
action,
fucking thing in almost 4
because
months of being here.
words
4
can't
months.
sufficiently describe it. When you see somebody calmly responding to a call, as Mr. McCosker said, at a person's worst moment in their life, at a moment when they're facing.
Have I seen Netflix
an
beef? Not bad. No, I don't have
extraordinary
Netflix.
I
I don't support any woke companies. None. You woke? You going broke? You ain't getting my money. I'll tear my dollars and burn them before I give Netflix $1.
acting as medical professionals on the phone.
Get those woke
diagnosing the
activists.
person's
Get
situation and
all those
figuring
people
out
that
the
you say
appropriate
matter and I
response to
have
that
to say
in a
matter and
matter of
everything else. Get
seconds,
those people to
because
pay your
seconds
bills.
makes a difference between living and dying in those circumstances. And then they move on.
Don't
to
worry
the next
about
call
me.
and do
You
it
don't need my
again,
bigot
and
money.
Do it again all day long. And
I'm a bigot, remember? You don't
calls that
need
our
my money.
PSRs
You don't want
take
my money,
for
Netflix.
any one of us, mere mortals.
Look
that
what's
would
happening
be a
to fucking
traumatic
Anheuser-Busch. I'm
experience that we
glad.
would,
It's good to
remember
see.
for the rest of our lives. And they
Stop
do
force
it,
feeding
and
us
then
shit.
move
We don't
on
give
to
a
the
fuck,
next one,
corporations,
move
what
on
you
to the
think
next
and
one,
want us to
save
think.
lives
Go fuck
with,
yourself.
you know,
Serve your
virtually
fucking
every
alcohol,
day.
serve your shit,
And,
and shut the
so
fuck up.
The entire city of Los Angeles is incredibly grateful to each and every one of you for
And you love women so much. It was all about women, but like somebody else said, you don't have any women on any cans ever. You know, how come? How come any of the biggest women that you could name me, none of them are ever on a can? How come? How come, Anheuser-Busch?
My buttons.
Women don't count?
But I just want to stand up and thank Councilmember Hernandez and Councilmember McCosker for bringing this forth. You
Women don't drink
I
your
have a
beer?
911 center in my district. Katie, thank you for the shout out there for CD12. You open your doors for us, for the community, come and see. My staff has come in years ago to take a look at the hard work that all of you do. I'm just repeating the things that my colleagues have said, but it's just
What if I
it's
fit?
really impressive.
You look stoned or I look stoned?
Think about what
I just woke up.
you go through day in and day out to serve our city of Los Angeles.
Think you look stoned?
Just the brief time that we were standing there just watching
What's up, Maria?
the operators take calls.
Hey, Peter.
these were calls where, like Councilmember, President
Fruit-based drink for the ladies?
Corian said.
Trust me, there's plenty of ladies that
calls
like beer, just like
when we
men like
listen to
beer.
you, we're just amazed.
Beer is
that
beer,
you
man. It's
have
not
to
made
then
for men. It's made
take
for
it in,
everybody.
respond to it, and then just simply move
That's
on
simply
to
it.
the next call. So
It's like chewing gum.
We
It's not
hope
made
that
for a
you
man or a
understand
woman.
how
It's
much
made for
as a
everybody.
body we recognize the hard work that you
Just
put in
made.
day in.
You
and
choose
day
to
out.
use it.
And as Councilmember Rodriguez said, the things that we are trying to do to make sure
$4 billion
that we bring in more
market
people,
loss
that
in
operators
10
make
days.
sure
Ooh.
that, we understand the importance of your job and that we are trying to do.
I'm
what we
laughing at
can
that
to help
VP.
you perform your job
Thought it was such a
every
good
single
idea.
day in, day out. So, thank you guys.
Mr. McCosker, Councilmember
only $4 billion.
Hernandez, when is the open house? Today is the open house.
Yep.
So, members, if you haven't yet visited, you have a perfect opportunity when we conclude with council today. So, once again, let's give all of these extraordinary professionals.
I
one
can't,
round
Will.
of applause.
It's top. It's as high as it goes. Let me see, make sure, but yeah, it's 100%.
All right.
Can't even
Thank
do it
you
on
very
the
much
mixer
for
any
being with
higher.
us.
It's
will
on
be moving
11.
on,
It's one more than 10. It's their shitty audio, guys.
Yes. Item 23, without objection, I'm going to refer back.
Went
to
down
the
2%
Public Works,
today alone, Bionic.
Committee.
Nice.
And with that, we'll go ahead and begin our public comment. We'll begin with those speakers who are here in the council chambers.
Vanguard
I'm
and
gonna call
BlackRock
out
will buy Anheuser-Busch,
some
you think,
names,
Sassy?
And as I call out
They
your
own
names,
all of
come over
Vegas.
to
Why
the,
not?
left-hand side of the chambers.
I know
And Madam
Vanguard
Clerk,
does.
As we're doing that, if you could please read the call-in instructions, please, for those who wish to comment on the phone.
Thank you, sir. As indicated on the
As
agenda, members
indicated?
of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 669-254.
All right, there's the number, guys. You want to call in? 669-254-5252.
535-8466.
Call in.
Then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted to the meeting,
up,
press
Chino?
star 9 to request to speak. When
What's
it
up,
is your
people?
turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to
up,
press
Tyree?
star 6 to unmute. Again, call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466, then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant
I'm sure
ID.
they already have, Optimus.
Once admitted to the meeting, press star 9 to
Got to remember, even like in Colorado, I had friends telling me how, Philip Morris, owns Marlboro. They were buying up land all over during the weed thing. I mean, why not? Because they'll be into it too. They're not going to just let you stomp out the tobacco industry like that. They're going to be a part of the industry of shitty weed too.
Before beginning general public comment.
Believe
We'll
that.
tell you when your time's up. When speaking on the
Thanks,
agenda
Maria.
items, you must
Good
be
to
on
see you.
topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you're not on topic, or if we can't tell whether you're on topic, you'll get one brief warning from me or the president. At that point, you need to get immediately clearly
Dr.
on
No
topic.
Name?
If you
I don't know.
or you against or off topic, unfortunately, you'll forfeit your speaking time. And we'll
Maybe
move
there
on
will
to
be
the
a
next speaker.
a
The items
craft
that are
brew
open for
to do
public
that.
comment today are items 1 through 12 and 16 through 32. That's 1 through 12 and 16 through 32.
What's up,
So
Seth?
for members of the
Shout
public
out to you and Maine.
calling in, as you were told, when it's your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will prompt you to press star 6 to unmute yourself. If you don't do so, council staff will prompt you
Marlboro
one more time,
Blend No
typically
420.
by reading off the last 4 digits of your phone
Gonna make
number.
some
At that
pre-rolled
point, you need to press
spliffs.
star 6 right away, or unfortunately, we'll move on to the next speaker.
Tobacco
Now,
and
there is
weed.
a brief time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, so 2 things are important. First, when it's your turn to speak, please turn down the volume on the other devices right away. If you're listening on channel 35 or YouTube or something, between the time delay and feedback, it really causes a great deal of confusion. Second, because of the time delay, we want you to hear in real time when it's your turn to press.
Guys,
star
I'm going to
6.
go run in the
So
other
while
room
you're
really
waiting for your
quickly.
turn,
Be back in a
please
minute or
keep
so. I'm just going to
one
make a quick
to
phone
the
call.
ear and don't just
And
listen
because I
on
want to
one
do it
device.
now
If
before
you're
it starts
listening-
getting crazy,
listening
okay?
on another device,
I'll
you
be
may
right
not
back.
hear fast enough, and you may get passed over.
I'll
With that,
hustle.
Mr. President,
I'll
we are
hustle,
ready to begin
man.
public comment.
Thank you very much. So I'll call out several names at a time, and as I mentioned, please come to the left-hand side of the chamber when I call your name. We'll start with Ben Edwards, Art Pulido,
Be right back.
and Billy Green, please.
I got to make a quick phone call. You saw the text that just came in. I got to answer it. On it to
And
answer
Donna
it.
Jones, Bonnie Wallace and Brenda Ashby.
So if your name was called, don't worry about the exact order. Just come up, and the sergeant will let the first person in. Great.
And if you could please mention your name so I know who has spoken.
Yes.
Billy Green, item 30,
Okay.
and general comments.
So 30 in general. Could you give us your name again so we may...
Billy, B-I-L-L-I-E, green like the color.
Great. Okay, so you have a minute for each. Please begin.
Thank you. Good morning, council members. My name is Billy Green. I'm a community activist in Council District 10, where I've lived for nearly 50 years, and I've come from the school of Willis Edwards in community activism, and that means we work for the people. I'm the former president of the Beverly Hills Hollywood NAACP, former vice president of UNNC Neighborhoods Council, and former deputy for Council Member Herb Wesson. I'm here today asking you to reappoint Heather Hutt as council member for CD10. We don't need a costly special election with $18 million or more. We're already wasting money paying for an office that the former council member got, and we already had an office that is in CD10 that belongs to the city.
Please continue. You have another minute.
Thank you. Please reappoint Heather Hutt as our council person. She has been doing an excellent job. The community wants her back. I want her back. Please reappoint Heather Hutt. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, members of council. I'm here from West Adams Avenue's 10th District. My name is Donna Jones. I'm here to let you know havoc has been our area for part of the last 2 years. Recently, thanks to your appointment of Heather Hutt, we've been able to get something done and to make our community move forward and successful. I'm here to ask you to continue her appointment to the position of councilperson for the 10th District so that we don't have to go back into where we are and what we're going to do in order to get someplace. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, if you'd please give us your name that you signed up under, which items you'd like to speak on.
Good morning, President and council members. My name is Brenda Ashby. I want to speak on item 30.
Very good. You have a minute, and thank you, Sergeant, for getting the mic closer.
I want to speak on item 30, and I would like to ask the council to continue to extend Heather's Hutt position. I've lived in Council District 10 for 28 years. Bringing Heather on board has been a godsend. She's done an excellent job. Her face is out there everywhere. You see her on the outreach, you see her on the homeless, you see her on the events that she brings forward. That event that she did with the Real ID for the seniors was phenomenal. Her staff is very professional, very resourceful, and very responsive. I'm asking that you re-elect or appoint Heather Hutt to continue doing the excellent job that she's doing today. She's brought us from chaos to a position that we can
Yes, I'm on the golf course.
now continue. Thank you.
Stinks is in
Thank
the other
you.
room. I just saw him there. Where's my camera? Did I miss anything fun? No.
Hello, if you'd
Hello.
please tell us the name you signed up under.
Hello.
What items you signed up for.
I signed up for item 30 and public comment.
Okay, you have a minute for each. And sorry, I didn't catch your name.
My name is Art Polito.
Thank you.
I'd like to get 2 minutes, one each.
Great. Please begin.
Okay. First, I'd like to say good morning, everybody. And I'd like to say I think it'd be a lot
Good luck
better
with that,
for the
Timber.
community if we'd be
Good
able to
luck.
vote who we want in there instead of appointing. This is a democracy. It's not a dictator or self-appointment. We need to be fair with everybody. And the only way you could do that is let the people choose who they want.
Really,
represent.
Blue Ring? Are you lying or
And this
no?
is why we have the
Is that
problem
real?
we do today, because you guys don't hear us. I'm here today because I want you to hear us. It starts with the problems we have in the community. If they're not going to be able to let us vote because they always give that excuse of you can't, we don't have money for election or whatever that BS excuse. If you gave a councilman $400,000 to stay at home, I think you could come up with the
What's up,
money
Panda?
for people to go out there and vote. So
up,
let's
Lisa?
put our cards on the table. Let's make it, everybody knows that we're tired of this kind of stuff you throw at us. Let the people's voices heard. Let them vote.
And you have general.
We're a
public comment.
constitutional republic.
Okay, I'm
Not a
continuing where I left
democracy.
off. So at this time, I think it'd be the fairest thing, democracy, in a democratic way. You know, I got to see you guys all these years coming up here, talking to you guys.
Go,
And
Andrew.
Now I realize that the only way we're gonna be heard if we come up here and talk to you directly like I am today. You know, I don't like coming down City Hall and go through all that jump rope that you make us go through, but if we gotta be heard, we gotta do it. And I wanna let you know, please take into consideration to make your vote to said, let the community vote who they want.
Maybe,
not
Tony.
appointments. We're not a dictatorship.
2 maybe?
So as long as we do that, I think we're gonna be in good, straightforward with the voters in our community.
Yeah, Maria, a lot of
Okay.
times it's early morning
At
phone
this time,
call
I wanna
stuff.
thank you and consider this, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to call a few more names. Grace Yu, Jun Kisuk, and Bonnie Wallace.
Hi, if you tell us the name you signed up under, which items you want to speak on.
Ben Edwards.
Okay.
And 30 in public comment.
Very good. You have a minute of each. Please begin, Mr. Edwards.
All right. Do I just have to start? Okay, let's start. Please have a special election for the soon-to-be vacant seat. We don't live in a Stasi nation, so please have an actual election for the vacant city hall seat, not a Soviet-style appointment.
Good luck
So
with that.
power can be given to the real people.
These are Democrats.
Not
Good luck
Marxist
with
liars that talk out of the side of their mouth. I remember that some people were trying to abolish police, and now you guys are walking it back, trying to honor the first responders that you guys fired for not getting the jabs. So, pretty hypocritical to me. Just rehire everybody, have an election, a normal election, so that way we cannot feel like we live in some sort of communist country that a lot of people's ancestors fled from, and they're still fleeing from across the border and in container ships and dying in those containers. And
Yes, you have a minute for.
I love it. He dropped the bomb on him.
Okay.
He dropped the fucking bomb on him. Didn't
in
even.
this actually
quiet
raises
as kept
an
in there. They
illegal
don't realize
C-19
it.
city emergency today, and rehire all the illegal fired city employees with back pay today. According to the CDC data, April 5th, 2023, blacks have a 51% vax rate, whites 57, Latinos 67, Pacific Islanders 72, Asians 75, and Native Americans 78. Blacks remember the Tuskegee experiment from 1932 to 72, where black men were given syphilis on purpose just to see what it would do. Wake up! These jabs did not work, and the vax injuries are real. Don't believe me? Go to this web link, bit.ly/MEDALERTS. That's bit.ly/med-alerts. Think you have or know somebody that's been vax injured or suspect death? Make an official report on this link, bit.ly/EFILEC19 VAXREACTION. That's bit.ly/eFile Vax Reaction.
Fucking love this dude. He straight called them out. You're over here telling us how awesome and how praising the firefighters and the cops, but yet not praising the ones you forced to all take the jab, and the ones you didn't, you fucking fired. So they should all be rehired and get their money back plus pay.
Yesterday, Joe Biden stopped the state of emergency. State of California has
Old stupid Joe?
no mandates. Los Angeles should
Old
have
dumb
no
fuck
mandates
Joe?
either. The country should have no mandates. Yeah, and so I'm afraid that there's probably going to be another pandemic coming soon. All mandates should never come
Another
back. I
pandemic
just want to read
coming.
a quick quote. Individual rights are not subject to public vote. A majority has no right to vote away the rights of a minority. The political function of rights is precisely to protect minorities from oppression. Mandates are oppressive. So to protect from oppression by majorities, and the smallest minority on earth is the individual. You cannot
I'm on
require
kick.
people to
Rumble right
put
now is
something
not
in their
up.
body in order for employment. Please do not do that again. Thank you.
I'll paint. I'm on both normally, but right now I'm just on kick. Like, you can go on a kick this very moment and watch the show. Rumble should be on, but it's not. It had a problem, so I just gave up. I don't have too much time to waste. I got to get going.
Amy signed up
Council
under?
District.
So, Rumble.
Council members, my name is Francisca Mendoza, and I am here as a resident. And
No, Roonster, I
wanna
get
express to you the
97%,
urgency
almost
that we
100%.
have in CD10. We need to keep Heather
Jesse?
in CD10
Morning.
because we just went through a devastation of COVID-19, and our personally, our streets look, especially my street, look like a toilet bowl. And we need to keep our communities clean and safe. And it's true. I can show you pictures of how our street looked before and after.
Who's dropping the trash
and
off?
This would not have been possible without Heather Hutt's support. We need to keep our funding in our communities. Please, I urge you to not have special elections and to keep every single funding that we have in our communities.
Morning.
I really appreciate it if you guys really look deep into your hearts and get back to work. We have just had 2 years of, like I said, our streets look very ugly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like the toilet bowl. I love it.
Call a few more names as these speakers are coming up. Angie Brown, Tracy Mitchell, Donna Jones, and Dolores Sears, please.
Hi, if you remind us of the name you signed up under and what you want to speak on.
I signed up under NASA. That's my station name. My real name is Ruth Zhang. And I implore you guys to rehire back the city workers that have been honorably and loyally serving our city and the people. You guys are not hiring them. You guys are mistreating them. You guys are being dishonorable. And you guys,
Democrat.
this is discriminatory. What are you trying to say? The people without the vaccination are having less rights? This is
Randy
Jim Crow.
Weber,
This
thank
is
you.
Vaccine Jim Crow, and I'm not just lashing
Thanks, Randy.
labels upon you guys. This is I have statistics to back this. CDC data as of April 5th, 2023, vaccination rates: blacks having 51% only, whites 57, Hispanics 67, Asians 74, American Indians, Alaska Native 78. So if you guys are not hiring these honorable
Thanks,
city workers
Rooster.
who have been defending the very rights of the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, I believe so. Still, I mean, I can't. Again, even the idiot that's in charge just decided to stop the madness today. So I'm assuming
Hello,
that yes.
good morning.
It's got a sign.
How are you?
Hold on, let me.
Good, thank you.
Okay, my name is Ki Suk Chun. I'm a wheelchair center and Koreantown Neighborhood Council Vice President. I'm grateful to Honorable President Paul Crayon.
Paul
and
Crayon?
member of the council for the opportunity to express my opinion.
Paul Crayon.
In the news
Close enough.
interview, President said, "I'm confident her heart is she will continue to do so the permanent appointment. But that is without asking the opinion of the resident. the arbitrary decision is not fair and ignores the charter of the in the 10th district. We want a special election.
I agree, Ohe.
And we need to elect the council member that we constituent want us. Please consider this my opinions. We need special elections. We
Come on, Shachi.
to elect the council member we want.
Holding up a sign. What does the sign
Thank
say?
you.
Couldn't
Thank you.
even see what
Thank
the
you.
sign says. Good luck. Like he probably took an hour writing that sign, making up that sign, so nobody could even see it for 3 seconds.
Hello, if you please tell us the name you signed up under.
My name is Angie Brown. I'm speaking general public comments and item 30, please.
Okay, you have a minute for each. Please begin.
Okay,
We'll
well,
reset
I'll
the.
Start with item 30.
Yes, please.
As a 30-year resident of the northern part of CD10, I'm going to ask you to lean into democracy.
Of course
your
you are, commie.
fiscal arguments are not very strong. I've been involved in neighborhood councils, and I've seen how you throw money around. And I'm going to ask you to spend some of that money on democracy. We have to have the cronyism that's existed in CD10 in most of my time here has led to a lot of backdoor deals and not being represented. I mean, if I could, I'd ask to be adopted by Mr. Soto Martinez or Ms. Hernandez, because you actually seem to do something for your constituents. Heather has never responded to anything. Koreatown is a filthy mess. We don't get constituent services. And I'm begging us for you to give us a fresh start and we can get out of this whole public corruption mess. But if we don't have a special election, I'd like to invite the FBI public corruption to come look into it. Now, general public comments.
Sure.
Notice Maxwell
Again,
would never.
CD10. We have had one of the densest growths of gentrification under the TOCs. We have a huge constituency with no green space. You are increasing the the heat index and not doing anything to mitigate climate change in our neighborhood that is full of immigrants. Many of them become citizens and votes, but a lot of them don't. And I'm here to ask you on their behalf is to really make some good change in the city and get real representation, because we are the redheaded stepchild of CD10 and we're neglected constantly. Thank you.
Oh man, all I can say about that is
Emotional damage.
notice nobody ever says anything about a constitutional republic.
Name you signed up under?
Democracy, democracy, democracy.
Certainly.
Constitutional
My
republic.
name
That's what this country
Grace
is founded
Lee,
on.
And I'm here for general public comment as well as item number 30.
Okay, great. So we give you a minute for each.
Fucking
Please begin with item
commies.
30.
I apologize, but I'm ready to prepare for the general comment first. And if you can put me back to my full minute there.
Okay, so.
Thank you.
please
Put me
start.
back to my full minute.
Good morning, council members. My name is Grace Yu, and I'm here to talk about
Grace
democracy
you. I love it.
and voting.
Thank
As
you.
you know, they go hand in hand. Social justice and equal justice cannot be had when you do not give a fair playing field. You know what it means to be an incumbent or be in that position. You are people seated
That's right,
right
and
now.
the republic
a
for which
handful
it
of you who
stands.
came in from
One
the
nation
outside.
under God,
Can you
indivisible.
imagine running
And
with
liberty
the
and
thumb
justice for all.
of an incumbent when you know they shouldn't be there?
Liberty and justice for
CD6 got a special election.
Says it in the
CD12 got a special election. CD10 deserves a special election. Because democracy is not cheap. We
Of course
send
not. You're
soldiers
grifters.
everywhere across
You guys
the
are always
globe.
grifters.
CD10 deserves the same kind of democracy. People want accountability and transparency in government actions.
Money.
We want to see government working for all the people. And I'm here wearing a shirt that says, "Together we fight."
I'm right on the biz,
for
Nunya.
all,
That was my
for
first bowl of the
all.
day.
Everyone
Crazy,
should be
homeboy.
treated fairly. We should have a fair
right here.
process. I'm letting you know that political corruption in CD10 allowed for this vacancy. Please do not allow for corruption to continue. You can allow for a fair process. If you're saying it's too costly, which I don't understand, but if that's your argument, here's my counter argument. Kamani Black is the chief of staff. He knows the office. You can appoint him there instead of Heather. If you're so concerned about how things are done in CD10 and to have a fair process, you should appoint him and make sure that he is not a candidate for CD10. Just like I stated in September 1st, 2020.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Another one. Go
Thank
sit
you,
down.
Ms. Yu, your time is
Go sit
expired.
down. They already
Thank you.
quieted your mic.
I'm going to call a few more names.
Emotional
Majid
damage.
Antonia and Tracy Mitchell and Dolores Sears,
I guess they all forgot the song. Like Kurt said.
Hello.
Republic for which it
Please
stands.
remind us of the name you
Says it
signed
in
up
the
under and
fucking
what you
song.
want.
Go back to fucking second grade, ladies and gentlemen. Learn that shit in second grade, maybe.
Great. You have a minute for each. Please begin.
They're doing their best to change the country right in front of your eyes, and I won't let them change it for me. You can go fuck yourself. Any of you
Again,
woke
my name is
fucking
Dolores
punks.
Spears. I'm a 28-year
It's for your
resident
wokeness.
of CD10, community activist, and board member of UNNC Neighborhood Council for our identification purposes. Honorable council members, my name is Dolores Spears, 28-year resident of Jefferson Park in CD10.
Oh, I always laugh at my own shit.
There are those calling for a special election for the vacant seat in CD10. I emphatically disagree.
I know it's bad.
When Council President Krikorian called for a special election in Council District 6, the process took nearly 6 months. If a special election is called in CD10, it would take us approximately 6 months, and we would be disenfranchised without a voting voice on City Council. Shortly after that, the council would be spending money on primary elections. This is not prudent spending of the city budget for a special election and then a primary election. Heather Hutt is dedicated. So dedicated, she came to council with an injured foot on a scooter to discuss and vote on matters before
She got
the
to
council.
work like everybody
Since
else in
her
America
appointment,
with
she
an
has been on
injury.
the ground in the community, engaging residents, listening to our concerns. She has sponsored food giveaways for the less fortunate, participated in the homeless count, provided fun activities for the children, and through her staff, who are always professional and attentive to our needs, disseminated the latest information on resources available to residents. She even took the time out of her busy schedule to be the mistress of ceremony for our UNNC Neighborhood Council's 20th anniversary. She's dedicated to our community. Heather Hutt has done an awesome job so far as our representative. We all know her credentials. We all know she's qualified for the job. I support the motion to appoint Heather Hutt. Please allow her to continue and reappoint her.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Get out of here. Thank you. We've heard enough. Where's the real people here?
Hello, and if
Mr. Herman, be quiet.
Oh,
Don't
there's.
disrupt this
That's
meeting.
what we want. We want Mr. Herman up here. Get up here, Mr. Herman. Mr. Sachs, Mr. Herman. We need them up here. Where are they? Bring them on up here. Come on down.
Okay, so you have a minute for each. Please begin.
Come on down, Mr. Sachs. Come on, Mr. Hearns. It's your time.
Say that I support reappointing Heather in Council District 10. because
Paging
it's so
Mr.
important for
Herman.
the underserved
Mr.
families that are
Herman.
being served in this community.
Remember Pee-wee?
We need continuity. We've had a lot of disruption and what I consider disenfranchisement of our community. And there is an election scheduled for March 2024, and I don't think we should spend an extra $8 million to have an election before then. Heather's been doing an excellent job. She's been present, she's been active, and she's been working on
That was your sixth grade
housing
teacher?
the underserved members of our community.
Herman Munster.
She's been working on serving underserved families. I partnered with her to provide food distributions to food insecure families due to COVID impact. And it's just so important. We don't need.
I've always wanted a
to
ham radio
be
set.
Left without a vote in city council. Please vote for continuity. Please vote for the underserved of this community.
Love Herman.
Thank you.
I've always wanted a ham radio set. And now that I've got one, I'm going to listen in on distress signals and notify the authorities and prevent disasters.
This fool said I'm going to notify the authorities.
The name you signed up under?
Good morning.
Herman.
Hi.
I will make a general comment first.
Okay.
And then on item 30.
I'm going to prevent disasters.
And would you please tell us your name again so we make sure
How's
we...
he going to prevent a
My name
disaster?
is Mujib Siddiqui.
Okay. So if
He's great.
Please
Love
begin, sir.
Herman.
Okay. I'm the former commissioner appointed by Mayor Garcetti, and we have a community in City 10 called Little Bangladesh, and we are proud to be here in this beautiful city. As regards my general comment, I have seen that whenever a public official is convicted, there are some tributes going from our leaders that should be restrained. And this kind of habit, privately we can give them our condolence or appreciation, but publicly it is a very wrong signal, which is happening now in Washington, D.C. So whenever somebody is convicted, we should restrain from giving our public appreciation. That's my general comment. And now I will go on CD 30. And regarding this little community, Little Bangladesh community, we are a culturally very vibrant community. And we have about 6-7 events in that vicinity of CD 10 and CD 13. And I see here my council member, Mr. Soto Martinez. Mr. Soto Martinez. Anyway, I have seen Heather Hart taking some, at least I will testify about 2 decisions she made. She was very cordial in our cultural events, and she has extended whatever support she could give. Number 2, we have a sports that has been practiced, badminton, and she has been very forthright in appropriating the fund, and also make sure that the sports event is renovated, and she has done 2 good jobs. Thank you, Mr. President. And
she has done 2 good jobs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Remember, she did really good with the badminton, guys. So that means you should. That was one of the good jobs. Who knows what the other good job was? But we should vote for her because she did really good at the badminton. See how simple one side is? How easily full to just look over here. Okay, I'll look over there. You're awesome. How did you make me look over there?
Also, Sylvia Corona.
You must be the best. I'm voting for you.
Hi. So would you
Insane.
please tell us
You guys wonder why it's this way? It's a bunch of dummies voting for him.
My name is Krishna Tabor, and I want to speak regarding...
That's why they're always there. They're not going nowhere.
So good morning, City Council. I'm a registered voter in District 10, and I'm here to show my support for the continuation of Councilwoman Heather Hutt. I believe and I know that she has the experience, the transparency, the accountability, the talent, the skills, the knowledge to continue to represent our district. And again, I believe it is a fiscal waste of taxpayers' dollars to have a special election.
Oh yeah, Jay.
especially
They
when
don't
we have
care.
an election
These
in
2 been
April.
sidebarring the
So
whole
I just
time.
stand before you to say that
He's over here hitting on this chick.
please move forward and reappoint Councilwoman Heather Hutt.
They've been sidebarring the whole time.
Thank you.
These 2 standing up, the white chick, black dude, they have not paid any attention to any of these fucking people, not for 1 fucking second. And you do realize those chairs should all be full,
Please
right?
Tell us your name and which items you signed up for.
But they're not all
Jennifer
full.
Kennedy and general public comment.
Great. Please begin.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Kennedy with 1 minute of blame.
I blame you for what's happening right now at Granada Hills Charter.
Hey, blowing
See,
bubbles.
Granada Hills
Fuck you
actually
and both of
enforced what
them.
This city was ready to inflict on all the children in the LAUSD.
Bye-bye.
Granada Hills Charter is segregating
don't spam my room,
right now
especially
based
that
on
garbage.
their vaccination status. Granada Hills Charter won't let the dirty, unvaccinated children sit with the vaccinated children at the counter, in the classroom on campus. Granada Hills Charter won't let the dirty, unvaccinated children play on sports teams with the vaccinated children. And this year, like last year, Granada Hills Charter said it wouldn't let the dirty, unvaccinated teenagers dance, mix, and mingle with the vaccinated teenagers at the prom. Granada Hills Charter is keeping children separate and unequal. Granada Hills Charter is the visible, ugly face of medical segregation. And did you know they still rely on your policies to justify theirs as they crush children as young as 12? Just like you crushed city workers and the mandate, stop
Thanks
the charade.
very much. Your time's
Thanks very
expired.
much. You're
Ian
getting
Jameson,
you're spitting too
Kareem
much fact.
Albrecht,
You're spitting too
Sylvia
much
Corona,
facts.
please.
Let's get up in her way.
Mr. Jameson,
Yeah.
vacancy, do you sign-
Stop making me look like a
General
hypocrite.
Public comment, please.
begin.
Tim McCosker, you campaigned on your association with the Los Angeles Police Protective League. I got news for you. The overwhelming majority of LAPD officers do not want their employer violating their constitutional rights by dictating their private medical decisions to them on pain of termination. So it would be wonderful if you could put your money where your mouth is, relocate your misplaced balls, and come out against the mandate. To all of you, we know this has never been about public health. We know this has never been about science. We know it's been about money from day one. City of Los Angeles received $1.28 billion under the American Rescue Plan Act with mandate strings attached to it. And you all decided you had the right to burn the United States Constitution and treat the over 50,000 people who work for the City of Los Angeles like infinitely injectable cattle. We're done with that shit. You can take your fascist mandate and you can go fuck yourselves. End the fucking mandate and rehire all terminated workers with back pay now. And don't quit screwing with the order of speakers. Mike McMahon should have been fourth in line. This is bullshit.
Your time is expired. Kareem Albrecht, Sylvia Corona,
Woo!
Mary McFadden, and Grace A., please.
I'm the dirty motherfucker they're referring to. That's right, I didn't bend over. You can go fuck yourself and your shots. Take them up your asshole. And stick your mask up there so it doesn't fall out, so the shot doesn't fall out. Take your mask and shove it in your asshole, too.
Yes, my name is
representando al este de Los Ángeles.
No, it doesn't fall out.
Y en primer lugar, les quiero pedir un favor, que no se duerman, por respeto. Los miro que no están muy interesados.
We
en
gotta
todos
flatten the
nuestros
curve.
servicios.
Did you guys flatten that curve yet? Did you flatten it?
To sleep on us that we need the representation.
Did you flatten
Mi
it?
tema es que alguien vandalizó en los 5 puntos el monumento al señor Morín y pido por favor que se haga una investigación o algo porque está vandalizado y yo pienso que lo están haciendo intencionalmente.
Yeah, I'd like an investigation on Mr. Mooney, please, because I believe that he's doing this intentionally.
Did you flatten it?
Y por favor, quiero también que no queremos nosotros esa glorieta y quiero abogar porque yo tengo más de 50 años viviendo en el este de Los Ángeles y está en la ciudad y quiero que por favor ustedes aboguen para que no se mueva ese monumento.
I would like the glorieta or the monument not to be moved. I've been in East Los Angeles over 50 years, so I would like you please to support and not move the monument.
Y que se ponga una cámara o X cosa para proteger esos monumentos que son tan especiales para nosotros, para nuestra comunidad y principalmente para nuestra cultura mexicana, mexicoamericana.
And I would like to ask that you put up a camera or something on those monuments to protect them. They're very valuable for our Mexican culture in the city.
I've never worked
Está vandalizada y eso no nos gusta, al contrario. Queremos que nos hagan algo bien bello en respeto a nuestros soldados, a nuestros que han fallecido y que
it's been
están vivos.
vandalized, and on the contrary, we want to see beautiful art with respect for our soldiers that have served and those that are alive still.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Zippy, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, you thing from another world, you.
Hello. Which items have
Hello.
you signed up for? And what
Hello.
name did you sign up under?
Were you a good little girl?
Elpridge,
Hello.
and I'm going to do a general comment under item 30.
Okay, so you have a minute for each. Please begin.
So once again, my name is Karine Elbridge. I've been a resident of CD10 for over 50 years, and I've seen the changes in our neighborhood. And I want to say that my purpose here is to convey to our fellow council members and President Council, we need a special election. We just got through a scandal with our council District 10. And let me say,
Got through. It's still
we
going
know
on.
of 2 other districts that's gone through their own scandal.
They're still there.
I remember very clearly.
What did we get
each
through?
and every one of you here, council members, said, we're going to do a clean slate. We're going to do it straight, clean slate, clear across elected members. So we know that we could bring back faith and restore the faith of our LA residents.
And they didn't do that.
So Council CD6, Council CD12, we're given the opportunity for elected special elections. Why are we the exceptions? We need our fair process. Restore
don't.
our faith.
No, you
I want to
don't.
restore and have faith in every one of you.
You got what you
Thank
voted. You got what you voted for.
Thank you very much.
Now, sit back down and shh. You got what you voted for. Shh. Next.
Hi, do we have another?
Okay,
I'm just gonna. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit in the chambers and do that. I'm gonna sit front row and tell each one of them, shh, and sit down. You got what you voted for.
All right, so if your name was called, come on up.
I love how it's like a club right there. You see the cop? He's the doorman, letting everybody in with the rope. Look, he's about to put the rope. There he goes.
Lewis,
It's like a club.
Yes, Mr. Greenspan. Just at
Behind the rope.
So which
Get in
items
line.
have you signed up for, Mr. Greenspan?
I've signed up to speak on 11, 12, 16, 17, 27, 28, 30, and 32.
Okay, you have 3 minutes. Please begin.
All right. Mike Greenspan created the perfect slogan, unionize the synagogues. They can afford it. Well, let's go over a couple things.
Jesus.
Good old rewards.
You wanted loud?
27. The late John Walsh would say, snitches get stitches. We're out there with these rewards that don't get paid. The last time I think one of them got paid, Janet Hahn was on the city council, and Fat Pig Paul Koretz did the in-your-face John Walsh. That's how long ago it's been since the reward's been paid.
He said fat pig.
Now, 17, $30,000 for the Los Angeles Pig Department.
Oh.
Those racist white Republican pigs who had $5 million for their slush fund for Caruso Independent Expenditure Committee because they didn't want to see a Schwarzenegger gal in the mayor's office. You know what? Those pigs, you can raise $5 million. Why don't you get your own 30,000? Basically 300 sheets of your toilet paper or 300 sheets of Angelino Jewish toilet paper. After all, I'll say it, fuck you and the horse you rode in on, you racist white Republican pigs. Fuck you, Bill Bratton. Fuck you, all of them. After all,
Can we
don't need you.
Can we stick with the agenda items? We seem to have.
Now, hey, you fucking turned off my microphone. Now, number 30, you had an election. Curley got elected. Curley got convicted. Curley's going to prison. When you see your postal carrier, look at those license plates. In the future, they'll probably be made by Curley. We don't need another election. So you illegally appointed Herbie Wesson. I was there at the court thing. And guess what? Then the same judge had to reverse herself. Well, all Herbie did was jerk his dick. He didn't do anything. I'll be glad to see Curley go to prison in August when he gets sentenced.
Quit playing with your
Now,
dinghy.
Denim Day. Are these, you liberal broads, are you wearing denims made by the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, or were these made by a sweatshop in China? Either child labor or forced labor. I'm sick and tired of you hypocrites, hypocritical females with your liberal views and your sweatshop clothes. just so Monica can put her fat ass in the jeans, and you gals can put your pussies in there. Fuck you! Go get some jeans that have been made by the union, and not a sweatshop with child labor in China.
So Monica,
Your time
her
has expired.
on her phone right
My
there.
General
sit,
public
sit
comment.
down and be silent.
My-
Your time has expired.
Right there. Sing it.
That was your general public comment. It had nothing to do with the agenda.
Put
Sit
her
down.
fat ass in his jeans. Ah, son of a bitch. You dropped the fucking hammer
Right,
on
I'm
him.
going to call a few more names. Dory Frank.
The hammer.
Antonia,
Ah.
Grace A. Sylvia Corona.
See, he was a whole new
Larry
one. We never
McFadden,
seen that guy before.
Mike McMahon.
Mr. Sachs, which items had you signed
Oh,
up for
Mr.
today?
Sachs, yes.
Signed up for 24, 32, 31. The public hearing items 1 through 10.
Okay, well, 1 through
and
10 have
public
been,
comment.
1 through 10 have been continued. So
Let's
we can deal
go.
with the other ones. So
Mr.
we'll set
Sachs
the clock
is
for
here.
3 minutes. Please continue.
Okay. 24 mentions the COVID-19 art sculpture. It's been over 4 years of this bullshit with this pandemic. Somebody mentioned $1.28 billion in American Rescue Plan. The county's spending over $3 billion a month. 1.28 billion comes to like a little less than like 12 days of county expenditures. That's $100 million a day. How many people have yet to be vaccinated? It's 4 years. What the fuck is going on? Who's in charge? Somebody mentioned homelessness again. Is it homelessness or homeless? When did it become homelessness? It's been homeless all the way up till like 2018. Number 31 refers to executive health care. What about legal representation? Is there a law that eliminates the council members from getting free legal representation? I remember there was a case in Orange County regarding that.
Mr. Sachs, that has nothing to do with item 31. Let's stick to
It
the agenda,
has
please.
something to do with Mr. City Attorney. Can I ask you a question?
No, you can't. It's
Oh,
not your
sure I
time to
can.
debate. It's your time to
Listen.
speak about the agenda or move on to general public comment.
Introduced the motion. I believe it was the city attorney. Is he elected official? Why would the city attorney introduce a motion to bring back Heather Hutt when this agenda item from March 15th has been appointed as an official? Right here, Heather Hutt, 10th District. What happened to get her out of there from March 15th to April 11th? Why was she removed? Why does she have to be reappointed? Wasn't she appointed already? Did she finish up a term? If she didn't finish up a term, then what the fuck is she being reappointed for? Can you explain that little error in English language, sir? You were the one who introduced the motion. Are you an elected official? I don't think so. You're a scumbag. But that's a different story. Anyway, a shot in the dark. These lighting districts that are on the agenda.
Oh, those have all been continued, Mr. Sachs.
It doesn't matter. I can still speak on them, can't I?
No. You want to go into
Yes,
general?
on general public comment.
To change the Affordable Care Act of Title VI? Did you get the vote? Did they get the vote to change Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964? Why has it been changed? And let's not forget the Affordable Care Act that was brought forward by President Barack Obama, one of the most comprehensive health care plans that ever would have been around. Why has it been discontinued? Why is it not being used? It would provide health care for low-income people. How many people in this city are below the poverty level in income? That's what that affordable health care would have addressed. Somebody decided they didn't want to pay. What the fuck is going on? Why is that happening? And as far as representation, this voting system that was used sucks. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Your time's expired. No, that was it. Have a
Mr.
seat,
Sachs.
please.
That was it.
Have a seat.
Hey,
Have a
fuck.
seat. Your time is expired. Sergeant, show him to his seat.
Mr. Sachs, you're disrupting
He's
the
already
meeting.
pissed. Look at his
Please
face.
leave the podium and be quiet.
I'm going to call a few more names. Bex, Mr. G. Mr. Sachs, you're going to be excluded if you disrupt this meeting. Okay, Mr. Sachs is ordered excluded from the meeting pursuant to Rule 12 for continuing to disrupt after multiple warnings not to disrupt the meeting. Please show Mr. Sachs the door.
He's pissed.
All right, Bex, Mr. G, Carolina.
He mad.
Moran,
He's big mad.
And Sarah Morgan, please.
Somebody's big
So if
mad.
you'd be kind enough to tell us the name you signed up under and which item you signed up for.
Yes. My name is Aura Vasquez, and I signed up for public comment on item number 30.
Please go ahead. You have a minute for each.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Aura Vasquez. I'm a resident of District 10, and I'm here to urge the board president and also the city council to hold a special election in my district. The residents in District 10 deserve to choose their representative. It is not a common practice to appoint a district caretaker to be a full member of the council when they also are a candidate on the same office. That poses some serious conflict of interest, and it only adds to the many scandals and corruption that residents in my district and in my community have to endure. I came to this country from Colombia with my family to have the right to also be part of this society and to also have my voice heard. So just like myself, there are many, thousands of people that deserve to choose their representatives. So I urge you, each of you, to please let us choose our representative.
It's kind of like Colombia there, ain't it?
Thank you.
It's kind of like Colombia.
Next speaker, please.
Hello, if you'd please tell us the name you signed up under and which items you signed up for.
I did not sign up. This is general comment.
Okay, please
My
go
name
ahead.
is Dory
And if
Frank,
you could,
even though my councilwoman is not here.
I'm sorry, sir. What is your name?
Dory Frank.
Okay, thank you.
I
Go right
remember
ahead.
you from the town hall meeting where you, Mr. President, you made a commitment to the Orthodox Jewish community, so did Mayor Bass, to protect our community. And I know that my councilman's budget is full. So this will be the first week of many weeks where I'll ask this council to approve budget for a Orthodox Jewish aid to my councilwoman to represent the religious community. And I will be bringing rabbis to support that move. So I want you to consider the fact that security isn't just putting money at the Jewish Federation. It is the fact that the rabbis in the community don't feel that we have someone on their staff to represent us. So this is the first of many visits. Be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
I want the homeboy with the mask and the green shirt. I forget his name. He's always doing that. There he is, right there he is. He's on his phone back there. If you look, he's right there. He's back there on his phone in the hall. Look at him. See the guy in the blue and blue suit? He's up there in the way back. The guy with the red shirt, standing against the pillar.
My
It's right
name
next
is
to him.
Carolina Morin. Yo voy a hablar en temas
I will
1, 26, 30.
Yeah,
I'd like
the
to speak on
snorter.
issues
Y
1,
comentarios
26,
públicos.
30, and make my public comment.
Mi nombre es Carolina Morin. Soy la esposa de Eri
My
Morin.
name is Carolina Morin, Eddie Morin's wife.
Vengo a representar la familia Raúl Morin,
I've come here to represent the Raúl
los,
Morin family
los veteranos y el pueblo mexicano.
and the veterans in the Mexican town.
No saben lo que se siente ver a su esposo no poderse levantar.
You'll never know what it feels like to see your husband not be able to
Se
get
lo
up
llevaron al hospital muy enfermo de emergencia.
when they had to take him away to the
Yeah,
hospital
Brian.
because he was so sick on emergency.
Y toda la familia y principalmente yo, su esposa, estamos conmovidos por lo que vemos que él está sufriendo.
okay.
And his whole family, especially his
Sí.
wife, has been very moved by his suffering.
Porque él fue a la guerra de Vietnam
He attended the Vietnam War.
y su papá de él
No, Draco, they haven't done him.
fue a la guerra tercera,
Go Boy's
And his
not in
father
there.
was in the third.
So
que
maybe he's
es Raúl
calling.
Morín.
Raúl
Hopefully.
Morín.
Sí. Estos monumentos fueron puestos en la esquina de
The-
5 puntos,
These monuments placed on the 5 points corner
porque este concilio no quiso que mexicanos fueran parte de esta ciudad.
This council did not want Mexicans to take part in the city.
That's incorrect.
Y-
That translation was incorrect.
La traducción está incorrecta, dice. Dijo que no querían que tomen parte en la ciudad.
These monuments were put in this specific corner of Cinco Puntos
Ujú. Estos monumentos los pusieron en la esquina de 5 puntos específica,
because the city of Los Angeles,
porque la ciudad de Los Ángeles
excluding Mexicans
excluía a mexicanos
from being part of this city council.
de tomar
Okay,
parte
so
en el
There's
consejo.
two
hold
on
on
the
1 second.
council.
So if the translator can
haciendo
translate this,
vandalizados.
this seems to be
Sí,
general
señora.
public comment.
Soto
Does anyone
Martinez
speak
and
to
the
any
other
of the
girl,
items on the agenda?
Parece que estos son temas
What's her name?
generales
The,
públicos. No quiere
this
hablar de
chick,
un
the
asunto
chick that was
que está
sitting
en
here.
la
Ok,
agenda, escrito.
y
Molina.
estos fueron estos memorial están
think.
vandalizados
Yes, these memorials have
muchas
been
veces.
vandalized over and over.
y muchas
Guy in the
gracias.
gray suit over there. Look at all the way to the left.
Thank
Sofía
you very
sabe
much.
todo, nuestra amiga nos,
Yeah.
nos está
Our friend,
protegiendo.
Sophia, she's protecting us.
I'm pretty sure
She
he's
knows.
Mexican.
Okay, so
American.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you.
Gracias, señora.
Thank you very much.
thank you. So again, if you could translate, that seemed to be
You know what's a
general
trip
public
to me?
comment, so
Everybody wants somebody of their own race. They don't want somebody who's just best for the job. I don't care what the person's race, gender, sexual affiliation. I don't care if they fuck teddy bears all day. If they're the best for the job and they do a great job, put them in or put her in place. That's the way I look at shit.
Antepasados, yo pido la palabra.
With the permission of my ancestors, I ask for this word,
There's permission to speak.
permission to speak.
At this moment, I'm here because of this tragic situation. Our monuments were vandalized. And I'm also here because there's also a lot of tension in this city, corruption of culture, racism, colonialism. Now, these monuments were put here because the city of Los Angeles excluded the Mexican community, also the African American communities, and created unincorporated areas. It's been 173 years that we do not have a seat at the table. Now, these monuments are historical. You cannot talk about the Raúl Morín monument without talking about Hector P. Garcia. He's a very important man. At one point in time, they would not allow Mexicans to be buried in military
so, Speaker,
ceremonies.
Sorry to cut you off, but this clearly is just general public comment. We've had a minute. Do you want to speak onto any of the
Yes.
items on the agenda? Which items?
30.
All right,
So,
you have a minute. Please begin.
Also, we were also hurt with the leaked tapes. So I have no ill towards
Okay,
the.
sorry, Speaker. So do you want to talk directly to item 30 or not?
Yes.
Okay, so would you do me a favor and make it clear from the get-go you're on item 30, because it doesn't sound like
She doesn't know what that item is.
Oh,
Bad.
that's where I was headed. So I also came here because our city is divided, and item 30 is important. I think it should be a free and open election because the Oaxaqueño community, one of the largest communities outside of Mexico, is also in this area. I have no ill heart to the representative that you want to appoint, but it should be free. Under Article 14, under
Item 30.
Constitution,
That was the weed,
it's
right?
fair and
Item
equal
30?
representation. So your vote today will be watched for those of you that are going to run in the future.
She's watching
I really
it.
want an open election because there's a lot of situations with this district. I testified in front of the Board of Supervisors several years ago because I heard of the just suppression of the API community. I had never heard how bad it was in this district, where they use language, wrong language that they sent out across the city for this district. And when I went to go speak on voter integrity, we asked Mark Ridley Thomas to recuse himself because he was going to run for this seat. And there was suppression within this community. So that impacted that original election. So I think that's speaking to a historical thing. I have no ill ill towards anyone, but it's about free, open, democratic elections. That impacted that last race. We ask that you have an open election. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Huh. So no free election. They're just electing whoever they want.
Thank you. Let's,
It's not a dictatorship. It's right. You're right. It's free. It's open. It's your democracy.
Mike Mahone.
Hi. So if you would remind us of the name you signed up under and which items.
Take your mask off.
Bex, 1730, general public comment.
Okay. So you have 2
Take the
minutes. for
schmut
items
off.
and followed by one for general. And what was the name again?
Bex.
Thank you.
So for item 17, that would be the Kokorian motion to provide LAPD with $30,000. As I've said before, I will always stand against giving the LAPD more money. They seem to have a bottomless pit in terms of budgeting with no accountability as to what the money is actually used for. Additionally, there are neighborhood councils that could easily use their discretionary funds to cover this expense. It's not required that the money be reassigned from the development fund, and I would like to see that money go perhaps maybe towards the homeless. $30,000 could give one person 100 nights in a hotel room, which would give them the opportunity to maybe find some better employment so that they can afford permanent housing. I definitely oppose giving any additional money to the LAPD. Item 30 is the reappointment of Heather Hunt. Councilman Lee, please, I ask that you oppose the reappointment and that you call for an open special election. This is a democratic republic in the United States of America. Everybody is entitled to voice their opinion through a peaceful election process. So I support a special election. Going on to my general public comment, this I address specifically for item 13. That's the motion to... Hey, not yet. General public comment, I have a minute, right?
Yes, you have a minute to check.
Okay. Item 13 is the catalytic converter motion. This is not a barrier to owning catalytic converters illegally. Catalytic converter theft is already illegal. As Congressmember Soto Martinez mentioned in his statement today, this is actually a barrier to lawful possession of a catalytic converter, because many mechanics or people like me who can work on their cars at home are not able to work on their cars because they would have to fear that they would be that this law would be enforced against them. It would also be, unfortunately, disproportionately enforced against non-white communities. So please, I urge the council to vote no on motion 13. Finally, I wanted to say I support Stop Cop City Solidarity to Atlanta from Los Angeles.
I want you guys to all understand that white people never get arrested ever. There's no white people in jail. It's only people of color.
Hi, Sean. Which did item 6 sound for?
Item 30 in general public comment.
Jesus, let's go, bruh.
Heather Hunt should stay on as District 10. I'm general public comment. I am sick and tired of these goddamn special elections. You have to wait months. It's not right. I don't know who won in Council District 6, but I don't like these goddamn special elections. I'm only going when we have an election for the 3rd district, I'm only going to vote once. We please don't have I don't like runoffs either. I can't stand runoffs. Please don't have goddamn runoffs, and I hate special elections. And another thing, get rid of this damn thing.
Thank you, Sean.
Fucking. Look at him walking out. Look at him walking out like a robot, all fast and crazy.
You have a minute free. Please begin.
All right. So starting off with item 17.
Here we go.
Item 17 gives more money for the cops to respond to fireworks calls in CD2. I presume that includes them probably blowing up a neighborhood in CD2 like they did in CD9. So I don't know why after all that you're giving them more money to, go blow up another neighborhood while you then do nothing to actually help them. And that's what this motion will do, because we all know what the LAPD is going to do with the fireworks once they get the fireworks. So let's not give them more money for that. Let's do something, the fireworks, they happen like twice a year. I mean, But this is obviously, you know, this is just going to blow up. They're just going to blow up another neighborhood because there has been no accountability, and you're not even going to try to do that. Moving on to item 30, reappointing Heather Hutt for the rest of the term with no special election. Now, I'm not really going to talk much to the qualifications of Heather Hutt or my personal opinion on her, because that doesn't matter. I'm not even a CD10 resident, but I am a CD6 resident, and we got a special election. We got to choose. We're getting to choose who our next council member is going to be. Now, I definitely have some thoughts on the candidates and such, but, you know, but that being said, at least we're getting a special election. We're not just, you know, appointing whoever, you know,
he's scared,
Paul
Buckin.
Krikorian wants, or let's face it, remember the origins of this whole idea to appoint Heather Hutt came from the leaked recording where Nuri Martinez, Gil Cedillo, Kevin De Leon, and Ron Herrera decided to go ahead and appoint Heather Hutt because they know that she would support them. Now, again, I don't want to unfairly tie Heather Hutt to that, you know, thing, but, you know, at the same time, you know, there needs to be a special election. That's the only fair way to do this. Yeah, Kevin De Leon needs to go. He hasn't shown up yet. Hopefully he won't. You all need to be doing more to get, you know, Kevin De Leon off this council. And, you know, stop banning people. And let's get rid of the killer cop in the council chamber. Like, you know, Haitham Sabra, I think is how you pronounce it, killed Mark Miles. And yet you have him in the fucking chamber. Get him out of this chamber. That's putting us all in danger. Remove him from the chamber. Get rid of Kevin De Leon.
Emotional damage.
Okay, let's go to Sylvia Corona.
I've been in the back drinking coffee, doing nothing. I'm going to try to figure out what's going on now. I'll bang the one on the left. I'll hit that shit.
I got him.
Hello, Stacey Segar-Bollinger. I would
Oh, here we go.
12, 16, 17, 30, 31, 13 as well, and general public comment.
Okay, so 13 actually isn't open.
Okay, I'll mention that during public comment then.
Yeah, so we'll do 3 for all the others and you can do
Great.
that in general. Please go ahead.
Okay, so items 12 and 16 are for a liquor license and street banners, respectively. Now, we are currently under a state of emergency per Mayor Bass regarding the population of the unhoused residents. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever experienced an emergency in your home, like a fire or a financial emergency, like where your lights get cut out. But normally when you're having an emergency, you don't buy booze and you don't buy banners to decorate your house. You first deal with the emergency, and then you can have whatever kind of fun you want. So I keep saying this because these motions keep appearing, but when we're in an emergency, we should focus our funding and efforts on that. I don't know why we're hanging street banners in neighborhoods above people who are sleeping on the sidewalk and dying in record numbers because they don't have a place to live. Number 17 is police funding, $30,000. This is the best funded institution in the city is the LAPD, but every time they have something, a new pet project or a new item, they come before here and ask for more money. Why? A lot of council members here campaigned on a defund the police platform and have voted in lockstep with what the LAPD and the LAPPL have asked them. So hopefully today we can do better and vote against this funding. Number 30 is regarding King Krikorian wanting to appoint whoever he likes into seats to do his bidding. So this is anti-democratic. It's frankly corrupt. No shade to soon-to-be council member Hutt, but the people deserve a voice, and who's representing them.
That one right there. Where's he? Oh, of course, now he leaves.
So just go ahead and move on to general public comment.
Okay.
So regarding item 13, Bex made a good point. Theft is already illegal. We spend so much time and resources on our auto-centric culture, our cars, and protecting property. This is not going to help anyone. It's just going to criminalize more things. We know that doesn't work. What works is providing resources to people, jobs, housing, funding. So we can't keep putting these incremental Band-Aid solutions on things. And speaking of representation, I just want to say I hope everyone paying attention is showing up in person to your neighborhood council meetings. They're doing everything they can to make it really difficult for you to show up. We're waiting on state bills to allow us to continue to meet virtually, but in the meantime, you're going to have to show up in person. So I'm just reminding everyone to check your calendar on your local neighborhood council and show up there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thanks for sparing us your beautiful
Sylvia
singing.
Corona, Mary McFadden, Mike McCohen, Tracy
Useless. Can't even read fucking names off. Don't know what's going on.
name you signed up
The
under,
fuck
which
do you
items
do
you
for a
signed up
living,
Sure,
Jog?
good morning. My name is
Besides
Michael
go get
McMahon.
nice suits with our
We'll,
money.
give a general.
Get the plate around on their
and
sides
also,
like the
touch
pastor.
on 30 as well.
Okay, so you have a minute for each.
Sure. Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Michael McMahon. I'm the founder of the Anti-Mandate Coalition, Roll Call for Freedom, and I speak for the brave men and women of that organization. The man you see before you today is a 14-year veteran of the Los Angeles Police Department. Once Officer of the Year, now terminated. Fired for taking a stand against an experimental injection. Fired for speaking out and to defend my constitutional rights. Fired for refusing to allow you to illegally take money from my paycheck, from my children, to pay for the useless PCR testing. Fired for questioning authority, as all officers, including the ones in this room, should be doing when faced with an immoral and unconstitutional act. Yesterday, President Biden signed House Joint Resolution 7, ending a national COVID mandate. It is over.
The shamdemic is done.
Will any of you who are seated in this room be brave enough to bring a motion to end Ordinance 187-130 floor and end this charade?
Okay, do you want to talk about item 30?
Put his mic back on, asshole.
So please go on to item 30.
Your city workers have suffered through this pandemic. We are all suffering, and you are hemorrhaging employees. You can't even staff the city police or the city fire department.
Thanks. So do you want to go on to item 30? Thank you.
Yeah. See? Let's go!
Is there anybody, excuse me, is there anyone in chambers who wishes to speak who has not spoken yet?
There you go.
Come on up.
Watch him as he goes. Wow, they busy honored these people before we started all this shit, right? They was honoring those cops and the ones that bent over for them.
Please go to the podium.
But the ones who didn't bend over for him and had a backbone and had some balls and nuts and guts.
Go ahead. Which items do you sign up for?
Yeah, that's the guy. He was sticking up for them.
All items.
You have 3 minutes.
And non-agenda public comment. 4 minutes. White.
You have 3 minutes.
Hold
for
on,
items
let's
11,
get this
12,
guy
16
going.
through 32, followed by an minute general. Please
Okay.
Okay.
Let me get my book out. My book. My book.
I like his shirt
Right
already.
here.
Right here.
I need to put my glasses on to see. Now, we're talking about all items and non-agenda public comment. So item 17, yeah. Price say, fuck the police, response to fucking fireworks, and I call District 2, fuck 2. Because I know that 42 U.S.C. 1983 approved the mayor to fuck police for monies in Hollywood division. No, you can do your own campaign shit. Get a fucking job. Then I go to item 18, Watts. What's wrong with Watts? Watts deserves towers, free towers for people to live. so that they can enjoy the historic preservation of why a white nigger too want to live free. Then I go to item 27. Am I on on non-agenda public comment?
Continue, Mr. Herman.
Okay, thank you, asshole. Now,
Thank
on
you,
item
asshole.
27, here, my friend, Mr. Lee, you say restraining reward offer for people death. I say no. Snitches get stitches, and don't be a little bitch. You be a house nigger too if you don't shut the fuck up.
Stick with the item, Mr. Herman.
Okay. Now I go to item number 30. 30. I still got a minute and 27 seconds. Heather Hutt, office for MF Mark Ridley Thomas, very good. Because if you can fit in the jeans, then you can dance with me in District 10, right? Now to my non-agenda public comment, 40 QSC 1983. Snyder versus Phelps, 562 U.S. 443. The decision of the United States Supreme Court.
His voice is
Thank
changing.
God for IEDs. Fag troops, simplify fags, faggot attorney, speaks out of term, and
on, man.
God hates fags, not
on.
blessed, just cursed. Dead fucking soldiers, Pope in hell, priests rape boys, faggots fuck boys.
Come on.
You're going to hell and God hates you.
Come on.
And the reason I say this, Mr. Attorney, because you're a fucking faggot.
Oh my God.
And the reason why I have this speech in my mind is because I hear the voice saying, God loves all faggots
Come on.
except you.
Jesus.
And the reason why God hates faggots, because in the
Come
book of
on.
Romans, chapter 1, verse 26 and 27, God says he hates fucking faggots and homosexuality. And this is for the record.
Your time's expired,
Jeez.
Mr.
All right.
Herman. Please have a seat. Please have a
Jesus,
seat, Mr.
fuck.
Herman.
Guys, just so we're clear, you guys know I don't condone any of that shit.
Wayne from Messino, the last
But
speaker.
unfortunate as it may be, guys, there's nothing I can do about this. This is a live meeting. Some of these people are quite crazy, And there's really nothing you can do. He's being escorted out by the police department. I mean, there's nothing I can do. So please do not hold this against me. You know I don't condone that shit. I don't ever use words like that. It's just, it is brutal. And that's what I'm saying. It's here, and I don't know, I want to show you guys this shit, and I just don't want you to think that I'm propping that up. I'm just showing you whatever's being seen.
Mr. Spindler, which items did you sign up for?
All goddamn fucking
You have-
items, goddamn general goddamn comment.
You have
like
3
the same
minutes to
shit
the
every
items I've said
fucking
before.
day.
Please go ahead. Begin.
It's the same shit every day.
Begin.
Good morning, FBI targets. Let's give you a hand. Yes. Oh. God, I love you guys. My brothers and sisters in the agency, thank you very much for their gainful employment.
So let's stick with the items, please.
No, let's get to this Heather Hutt thing. Oh, Nithya, don't go to prison. Monica, don't go to prison. Hugo, you're too young. Don't go to prison. Everybody that votes yes is convicted of what? Honest services fraud. She got the job. How? Let's go back. October 18th, 2021 on the tape. Where's De Leon? He's absent. He was there. Gil Cedillo said, Heather Hunt, she's our people. She should be the caretaker. Then Nuri said, oh shit, I think somebody recorded us. So I'm going to pick Herb Watson to be the caretaker. And Heather Hunt mysteriously got the job as what? Chief of Staff. How did that happen? Where are the records? Well, how the fuck does that happen, right? They're going to find out how it happened because it didn't happen here. We didn't have a hearing. We didn't have a fucking hearing, right?
Can we go on
So
to the next item,
then
Mr. Spindler?
Herb Weston gets sued. They knew he'd have to be removed because he's termed out. And the opening came up.
I
when
will be, Potato.
Heather Hunt gets the
8 p.m.
job.
tonight.
That's how it works, Unisys. That's how they do things here. They've been doing it here for 100 fucking years.
Okay, let's move on to the
Back
next
with
item,
cheap-
Mr. Spindler. You've been over a minute on this item. Mr. Spindler, let's move on to the next item.
Right, Cookie Monster?
Special election. What's so different?
Look at him back there.
9% white population in CD10. That's the difference. But Marchese today wants to keep his plum chairmanship. You can't keep your plum chairmanship and deny a special election.
So let's
so
move,
you got
Mr. Spindler. Let's move on to the next item.
Cut his mic.
You signed up for 3 items. Let's move on to the
That
next
look
item.
like Fred Norris.
doing it.
So move on to another item.
I'm
We're going to go to
doing
general.
it. That's what I'm talking about.
We're going to go to the next speaker,
Let's-
sir.
let's
if you
let
can't
send him to general.
complete your comment.
Fucking problem. You need to stay quiet and listen, because this is crazy.
Yeah, Jalden.
When they
That's
sue
why
the
we watch
city
this.
for racial discrimination because you didn't hold an election in CD10, what is the basis? You're going to say cost. How does that special election
Oh, the
cost $8 million,
crazy guy.
but at the same time it's only $3 million for CD6? How come it's $5 million more? Where do you get these fucking numbers? Just hold a special election. Just call a special election. Heather wants to run. She's going to be the leader. Just call it. Get out of this bullshit. Stop doing this. Because I drove through CD10 at Chateau Park, tents, 31 of them, everywhere. There's trash everywhere. If she was doing a great job, you'd show me the pictures, right? So let's have a special election, the right to vote. That's all we need.
Thank you, Mr.
Right.
Spindler.
I mean, yeah, we haven't even got to the phone
Okay,
calls
we're going to
yet.
close public
Oh, here we
comment
go.
in chambers. We have several on the line.
That
several
whole
on the phone
crew's
lines.
in there again. The guy that walked out all crazy
Spindler, you're
fast.
disrupting the meeting.
I'd bang
Please
her
proceed.
out.
Mr. City Attorney, yes, we'll
I
take
gotta
comment on the phone. Yes, we'll take his comment and then we'll go to the phones.
Okay, Mr. Harlan, what
Hi.
did you sign up for?
Oh, Mr.
Yes,
Harlan.
I'd like
Yes.
to speak on agenda items number 18, 19, 20.
Mr. Harlan's great,
22,
guys.
25, 26, and a general public comment.
Great, you have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
First of all, agenda item number 18, the What's Happening Cultural Center. You guys need to stop claiming cultural centers
That's
or
his-
historical monuments.
That's his land.
You guys don't know what you're talking about. That's just some fake claim to try and get property. I'm not saying all the Watts stuff is a bad claim, but a lot of it is. Agenda item number 19, tract map for 9978 North Laurel Canyon Boulevard. You have fake addresses. There's no tract map because no tract map exists there. Those are probably my properties you guys are trying to illegally develop under number 19. Definitely no on that.
Definitely no.
Number 20, 4321 West Burns Avenue. I didn't get to look that up yet, but it's probably another thing where you guys are just making up fake assessor reports. You don't have the owners of the property. You guys are just making it up. What you guys are doing is illegal. Agenda item number 22, hiring into the Board of Harbor Commissioners. Yeah, I reject your harbor commissioners. I own the Port of Los Angeles. That's my property. You're not to be hiring anybody into the Port of Los Angeles. You're not to be building anything in the Port of Los Angeles. The city's never owned the Port of Los Angeles.
Mr. Harlan, please don't scream.
He owns the whole port.
25, the mural project on 7th Street. Yeah, you guys need to stop putting murals on my buildings, too. You need to stop putting your gay murals on my buildings. That's no goddamn miracle. Some guy gave birth out the ass. You don't need a mural on my goddamn building for that, you goddamn weirdos. You guys go to hell. Agenda item number 26, sale agreement for Exposition Park. It says Harris, Dawson, and Price. Who in the fuck do you guys think you are? That's my fucking property. Who in the hell?
Mr. Harlan, don't shout. into
That's
the
my property.
Mr. Harlan,
Mr. Harlan, please.
So, Mr. Harlan, you were disrupting the meeting. You're hurting the translator's ears. You either stop shouting or you're going to end your public comment right now.
You guys need to be fired.
Mr.
Okay.
Harlan, please, sir.
All right, you're off topic too. You're disrupting the meeting.
Here comes the LAPD.
Mr. Harlan, we're going to ask you to leave.
All right, you've been ordered to leave.
Mr. Harlan, we're going to ask you to leave the room. You're disrupting the meeting and violating Rule 12. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comments.
Emotional damage.
Let's escort him to the aisle and out.
Oh my God, he lost it right there.
Out.
So you've been ordered to
He
move, Mr.
flew right off the
Okay, we're
Richter,
gonna take,
homeboy.
Calls
Went out with a bang, homeboy.
on the phones. Do we have any instructions, Mr. City Attorney?
You guys wanted the volume
it's
up.
the same instructions we read out before. So, Mr. Harlan.
Mr. Harlan, please, would you?
He's still yelling.
Mr. Harlan.
Okay,
We
Mr.
got
Harlan,
it.
you've been asked to leave. You've been asked to leave, sir.
Oh.
All right. So, to the audience.
Shout out to
who's
NLM.
waiting,
What up?
Mr. Harlan.
And welcome to everybody rating with him.
So it's going to take a little while.
What's up, Robert?
Okay.
Shout out to you and all y'all peeps.
Okay. We seem to have calmed down. So it's the same.
This is why I show this, guys. This is why.
Please listen.
Gets quite
for
interesting
the Zoom voice
quickly.
To prompt you to press *6 to
Now
unmute
we're on the
yourself,
phone portion. They've
and
closed
then
the
let us know which items you need to
in-council
speak on. So,
chambers
Mr.
portion.
President, we're ready to.
So
All
now
right,
we'll
let's take our
watch the
first
other
caller,
portion.
please.
First caller, which items would you like to speak on?
First caller.
I'll speak on all available items and general public comment, please.
Right,
Yes,
Sparks?
So you have 3 minutes for items 11.
You wouldn't think
12,
it,
and 16
but it's fun.
Through 32.
Remember, it's on tomorrow,
5
too.
minutes for general. So please begin, Speaker.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, public. The Los Angeles Sleazy Council is a criminally insane institution of organized crime. That's why we have 70 to 80,000 homeless people on the street. This is an absolute circus. Here we have item number 30, the appointment of Heather Hutt, or the selection, not appointment, the selection of Heather Hutt by disgraceful, petty, pink-faced dictator, Armenian dictator Pauline Krikorian.
Pauline.
is a disgrace and a Nuri Martinez clone. To take away or attempt to take away the public's right to vote. People have said it over and over again. CD6 has a special election, CD12, but they want to keep reinstating these coon Tom Negroes that do not represent the black community so they can keep the gravy train of the LAPD and the homelessness going. It's all just a big bank. Public, this is a circus, a public circus, and the people are sick and tired of it. The people of CD10 deserve a special election.
He's got his
Public
own
corruption
drops.
of 30-year pimp, Mark Ridley Thomas, pimping the black community just like sleazy Marquise Dawson
Could we move
and the
on
rest
to the
of these
next item?
clowns.
Granddaddy was a pimp.
Can we move on
I'm
to the next
talking
item?
about the appointment of Heather Hutt.
I understand that.
Their
and
refusal
You've been over
to
a minute on
appoint
that, so
this
let's move on
person-
to the next item.
All the people in your family were
so you
assistant
changed
pimps.
the rules. Oh, I see. Okay, Pauline Krikorian has CD2. I'll be putting in a claim for that. CD2, $17,000, $30,000 for extra police, more abuse of the people, just like trying to appoint Heather Hutt, same abuse, criminality, same abuse, the cloning of Nuri Martinez and the form of pink-faced petty dictator Pauline Krikorian, law enforcement, $30,000. What else do we need? Why don't we take the $30,000 from the LAPD and put it toward the special election that the people of CD10 deserve, as opposed to giving it to petty pink-faced dictator Paul Krikorian, who's removed more
And you
people
can go
out of
into
City
general
Hall
if
than
you wish.
anybody else. The black community has absolutely no representation.
Paul Stinglemore.
The
Thank you
more
so
of
much,
these
Paul.
calm,
Thank you,
coon
Paul.
Negroes that are appointed, the worse the black community does. Nearly 50% of the unemployed, nearly 50% are underemployed, 50% of the incarcerated, 50% of the homeless. When we had no representation, we had a fraction of this amount of devastation in the black community. Sleazy Marquise Dawson has spent over $10 million, $10 million, public, on luxury offices. Ridley Thomas on number 18 in June of 2021 had the HUD sitting in a $284,000 luxury office by criminal Mark Ridley Thomas. We need a special election where the people demand it. A special election, not selection of...
Next speaker. And just for
Caller?
the record, just for the record, we can actually hear Mr. Harlan outside on the sidewalk shouting so loudly we can hear it in the chamber. Please go ahead. The next speaker.
Caller, which items would you like to speak on?
Afternoon, Fable.
Thank you, Susan Fisher.
On 30 in general public comment.
Absolutely. So you have a minute for each. The floor is yours. Please begin.
If we knew then, last year, what we know now after the Fed tapes, would we have ever appointed Heather Hutt to the seat? I think it's safe to say the answer is no. So why are we doubling down on Mary's effort to rig this council? I find it pretty wild to see this council president use the exact same playbook as his predecessor. Last fall, he belabored the point that we were merely filling a temporary vacancy, and if there was a permanent vacancy, we found ourselves in this moment, our council would undergo a thorough, community-driven process for figuring out how to find this seat. He labeled himself Mr. Process. And after he took power, he said he wanted to run this council in a different way and reduce the power of the council president. And now he's swiftly moving to appoint somebody to an office they are currently running for. An office with more candidates running for it than any other race on the ballot in 2024. Please, tell me, is there any precedent for that in our history as a city? Do you not understand what kind of cynical message this sends to voters? Do you just not care? I feel like you assume we reached rock bottom last fall and winter, when in reality, we've kept on plummeting in the time since, with MRT getting convicted, Weezer pleading guilty, Chan on trial. You are voting to take us to rock bottom. Talking about restoring trust in City Hall while rigging an election is insulting. You wag your finger at those Republicans in Tennessee ejecting duly elected members from the legislature as you circumvent the voters and impose a representative on CD10. Why should anyone believe in your pledge to reform redistricting? Your claims that we want voters to choose politicians and not the other way around. Look at you clowns. We have politicians choosing politicians without the people getting a vote. A special election, $8 million, Paul? How many times have we seen you sleepwalk without any discussion over throwing LAPD another $20, $50 million in overtime?
Thank you. Next speaker.
All right, thank you, callers. We've had for an hour and a half of public comment. We're going to take 5 more minutes.
What?
Calls on the phones, and then we will proceed with the remainder of our meeting. Next caller, please.
Caller, which items would you like to speak on?
Item 13, 16, 21, and item 30, and general public comment.
Very good. You have 3 minutes, by the way. Item 13 is not open for public comment, so you can talk about it in general. So talk about the others, and then you can go to general and talk about that. So please go ahead.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Mr. Pablo. Happy post spring break, my friends. It's Lionel Morris on City 6 for item 16. I believe that the city council and the department, neighborhood department should do a better job of doing community outreach to get more people to fill in.
Sorry, guys.
Neighborhood council
Phone
seats,
calls coming in. I'm
because
just trying to respond to 'em.
unfortunately, many neighborhood councils have a lot of vacancies. So we need to do a better job than not just banners. We have to do door knocking, actually, and communicating with the public. For item 21, the same thing. I've attended Mission Hills Neighborhood Council many times, and they have a lot of vacancies. So I urge Monica Rodriguez to do more for the community, to do more outreach, more door knocking, more talking to the constituency, because they have a high vacancy rate. And for item 30, I believe that the people of Council District 10 have the right to self-determination. They have the right to elect someone of their choosing. I understand special elections are expensive, but that is the most democratic way of electing people, getting people to vote for who they ever they choose to represent their district. Because I believe in democracy, and democracy needs to be heard. And for my general public comments, for the past 4 months, I've been actively talking to my neighbors, to my community about this CD6 special election. I have been sharing information with other neighborhood councils on my own. I've talked to the media. I've done my best, and it's unfortunate that we have a low voter turnout because not enough people have done community outreach from an objective, neutral point of view. And we cannot allow partisan hacks to take over special interest lobbyists because they're funneling tons of money into this election, and nothing's going to get done. We need somebody who will actually work for the people, by the people. And I might consider running for city council, who knows, but we need people to start actively working together and organizing. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll take 2 more calls, please. Next caller.
Caller, which items would you like to speak on?
Caller. I like her voice. Makes my dick hard. Caller.
Yeah, hi. Which
Oh,
items would you like to
baby.
speak on?
Hi, Mr. Pablo. I'd like to speak on number 17 and general public comment.
Sure, you have a minute for each. Please go ahead.
Hi, morning, actually good afternoon, council. Okay, so we've seen item number 17. Talk about funding police response for fireworks call within District 2. Hey, what about funding police for burglary
Right,
calls,
Brock
car
Lobster?
break-ins? We've been having a lot of those nowadays, and unfortunately, you guys are not doing anything about that. You talk about fireworks.
Lazy.
Come on, dude. Once somebody lights the firework, that person's going to be long gone. And Mr. Corey, you're wasting taxpayer dollars right there, buddy. So I'd like to move on to general public comment.
He's not listening. Okay. Precorian. He's not even in the room.
Wow. So far we have John Englander, we have Jose Huizar, and we have Mark Willie Carmes as one of the 3 elected corrupt council members indicted and convicted on federal corruption charges.
Convicted.
You know, and you guys are making the city council into a nice, beautiful circus, because I see most of you guys are not even paying attention during public comment, and you guys are just standing around chit-chatting. You guys are not even listening to us. And you want us to elect you, and we pay your salaries, by the way. You guys make more than what President Biden makes per year. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
No, they make less because they don't get money from China.
Thank you. Last caller, please.
You got that Chinese
Caller,
money
which
coming
items would
in.
you like to speak on? Caller with the last 4 digits 7864, please press *6 to unmute.
Are you there, caller?
Are you there? Hello? Hello?
Next caller, please.
I like her voice, Ras.
Caller, which items would you like to speak on?
Thank you. How convenient. It's Eric Previn calling from Studio City. I'd like to speak on item 30 and a general public comment. Is item 30 the one about Heather Hutt?
It is. So you have a minute for each. Please begin, Mr. Previn.
Okay. I know a lot about special elections, and they're a very
Sure you do.
inside-y tool among electeds. This is not the appropriate time to play this kind of a game and cancel a special election. It's absolutely critical that the CD10 people choose their leadership. I mean, Heather Hutt can run for office, or she can step away and we'll put somebody else in the chair if she wants to do that. But we can't have her sit there for a year and a half or more with that kind of an incumbent advantage. It's totally inappropriate, and everybody knows it. So I appreciate the effort to just kind of act normal and shuffle along as if everything's okay. It's not okay, not even close to okay. And, you know, underlying the whole story is the trust. I mean, we cannot have these leaders who are expected to do the right thing get in lockstep and have her sit there. Well, for General, I'm very, very disturbed to find out that what's being swept under the rug is Council President Krikorian's decision to eliminate virtual testimony at committee hearings.
There he is over there in the gray.
Losing your bloody mind? What rationale could there possibly be for that? Is this suddenly the fiscally conservative group who doesn't want to pay for the Zoom? I mean, have you lost your mind? That is truly one of the most debilitating, awful things to do to the Angelinos, who rely on people who pay attention to talk out loud at these meetings. Now we can't talk out loud unless we schlep down there, increasing the carbon footprint that all of you bellyache on about constantly. How about that? Hundreds of people down there traveling across the town when they don't have to if they can call in. I mean, get it together. And David Michelson ought to resign, and with Fauble both, in a little, with a sidecar, right off the edge. This is bullshit. Thank you.
You should resign, Fauble.
Okay, we've taken public comment. I'm going to close the phone line.
Oh, come on.
Appreciate all the comments made on phone.
I've been here
and
too long.
In chambers.
Come on.
Madam
Fuck
Clerk,
out of here, dog.
What items are now before
Came
us?
late.
Council may
Ain't
now
doing
consider
shit.
Item
A
30.
lazy fuck. He's lazy
Okay,
as
item
shit.
30 is before us, members. Do we have any
I
comment?
need to get out there and get me another nice suit on your dime. That's what he's basically saying.
Well, let me just
Came
rise
late,
or-
leaving early.
or sit, and express my strong support for our colleague and my dear friend, Heather Hutt.
This is for you and Heather.
For the last 6 months,
Straight
Councilwoman
Spider-Man
Hutt has
Heather.
led
Put her right
our
here.
community with compassion,
Fling a web on her.
courage, grace, and urgency. Time after time, she's proven herself to be a leader whose priorities align with the core values of our city and making sure that neighbors feel safe and heard, especially during a time when our city is facing a deepening humanitarian crisis. Councilwoman Hutton has represented her community well by housing the unhoused, addressing public safety, and ensuring that her constituents receive thoughtful and thorough services throughout the entire district. Most importantly, over the past couple of months, her community has rallied behind her. My office has received a multitude of phone calls asking for her permanent position. Heather, you once said our jobs are for constituent services, and that's why we're here.
Yo, wrap that shit up, B.
Heather, that's why you were here, making sure that your
You've talked
community
enough. You got your
is
1 minute.
proud.
Eh.
I'm confident
Eh.
you will
Where's the
continue
little
to make
buzzer at?
decisions that will go on to enhance the lives of our residents, just as you have done for the last month. And so, colleagues, I ask for your aye vote on this issue. Councilwoman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues,
She's the one that he was talking about.
of this motion.
Take her fat ass and stick it in those jeans.
This is not about Heather Hutt.
Pulled her right up
I had
out
a
of there.
conversation with Ms. Hutt, just as I had a conversation with Ms. Hutt, I believe it was 6 months ago when we engaged in this conversation. It was several members of this body at that moment that also had apprehension and consternation around a vote that was being
Welcome,
rushed
Minister.
through to make this appointment. And so fast forward, here we are again. My frustration
Hmm.
is with the lack of transparency and process with which we're having this conversation again today. That it is again being rushed through.
Mm-hmm.
It is again
She's frustrated.
not allowing for a public process.
Mm-hmm.
And it is
Mhm.
devoid of democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really problematic for me that we find ourselves in this conversation again. And I understand how
Mhm.
frustrating and upsetting it is for the residents of the
She needs a
10th
bone
district.
and give it to her, Mike.
I understand. Because what disenfranchised communities look like are no different than what we see in Council District 6 right now. But we are honoring a process in Council District 6 with democracy, with a special election for the people to be afforded the opportunity to select and elect their representative. It's one thing to do it on an interim basis, and there's the option of having a caretaker, which
I don't know,
enables
Jason. She's
the
probably about as smart, though.
representation for that council district. That is the case now. It's just, excuse me, I'm speaking.
I don't give a
And
shit.
so
Talk over her.
There is a process by which we are saying in communities that are predominantly Latino that there is a special election, that there is no voting representative, but we are going to allow that process. To suggest that it's too expensive is, I think, a false narrative. We exercise budgetary discretion through the budget process, not by determining haphazardly whether or not we choose democracy and what that expense is in this process. We go through a budgetary process to make determinations on how we apply and use our dollars in the city.
They never
and
choose the
to
constitutional
suggest and
republic,
reflect
though.
whether or not we are going to
Never.
honor and uphold the values of democracy. That is important to me.
Never mentioned.
My position hasn't changed from what it was when we first had this conversation. I believe in making sure that we can restore
You
the
do,
trust
Oscar.
and
You do.
integrity of what that looks like on this body. I will say that,
What's up, Tron?
as again, because it was disrupted when I was speaking, I know that what disenfranchised communities look like, and I know what the experience is. Because as I've watched Council District 6, for example, be left without a representative as it awaits the election, as it
have it,
awaits its
Nuclear.
special election to determine who their
Basically.
representative is, I've watched other council members introduce motions that affect that council district. I've watched the exploitation
Matthew?
of a
Hi,
lack
Catherine.
of representation be conducted on that council district. It is shameful, and it's unfortunate. But here we are today, having this very important conversation. So today, colleagues, I will exercise democracy over hypocrisy in making sure that we have a consistent process in place
You're all
that
hypocrites. What are you
allows the
talking
people
about?
to determine who their elected representative is, not a selection process by which it is being proposed today. So
You know,
I will, again, be voting no.
And still not
on-
one word. You know, she loves to bring up the Latino community, which are a lot of lovely people that I love. But she never wants to bring up the Latino constituent that's the racist, that's still sitting on the board, that she and others on that board promised to get rid of, and he's still there. They
Members,
never
let's
bring
be
that up.
Crystal clear. A vote against this.
We're not
motion
talking alleged.
is
We're
a
talking
vote
about
to
self.
take the voice of 250,000 people away in this council chamber for at least another 5 or 6 months. And haven't the people of the 10th district been through enough already without taking their voice away from them as with a voting representative in this council for
You do it
another
every day,
5
dude.
or 6 months? I think Councilmember Rodriguez just made the case for why you should support this motion when she cited the situation that we're faced with in Council District 6 right now, where still,
self-proclaimed,
to this day,
sorry.
Council District
I was
6 is
wanting to
left
hear what he was
without a
saying.
voting
Took me
member
away.
of this council, and they are left without representation. Now, there was a reason to have the special election in that district was required, and why it's very different from the situation that we're faced with today. Nuri Martinez resigned from her office. That office was vacant And a special election could be
She was
set.
a racist, too.
We did not have that option.
She left.
When Mr. Ridley Thomas was indicted
By a
facing federal felonies.
a federal
We did
grand
not
jury
have
and
that
was
option
convicted.
under the charter. We could not
Whole nother
set
guy.
a special election
That's
at
3.
that time because the office was
Corrupt.
not vacant. But think of what those
All
people in the
Democrats,
10th district
no Republicans
had to
on this
endure while
horseshoe.
their
I don't want to hear
sitting
it.
council member was facing an
Not one.
indictment, couldn't serve them. We couldn't, hold a special election because there was no vacancy. Of course, we had to appoint someone to serve, to represent them and their voice in this council chamber. Now, I was among those who said we should have some sort of process in place to decide who that person to be appointed should be. And I would have preferred that process. I would have preferred having some sort of way that the community could weigh in, although the community very clearly did weigh in during our council meetings and spoke very clearly, I think, in support of Heather Hutt. But I would have supported a much more robust process for that selection. But a selection was nonetheless required, because if we did not select a voting representative until
You mean
2024,
decriminalizing, not
this community
so they could
would
tax
have been
it.
left without
Mad.
a voice on the council. So the situation we're in right now is extremely different than where we were then and what we're facing in the 6th district. We now have Heather Hutt, who's been serving as the voting member of this council, as the representative of the people of the 10th district now, for months. There is stability in the 10th district for the first time in a long time.
Says you. Says you.
And to propose anything other than that continuity of that office is to say, well,
Wanna
let's,
zoom out?
I guess, keep her, I guess the proposal is appoint somebody, we don't know who, or leave the office open without a representative as we're about to go into the budget process where the 10th district needs to have a voice as we're setting the budget for this city. So I guess the choice would be either leave it open, select someone who has never stepped foot in that office before, and then hold a special election.
You want that knee
5
shot,
or
don't
6
you?
months from now, and elect somebody else, and then in
Got that
March
knee fetish?
have the primary election for the regularly scheduled election and select somebody else. Do you think that that makes sense for the people of the 10th district?
Please,
So-
let's.
Please, I need to hurry up and get out of
It's-
here.
I'm sorry, but this,
Fuck
it's
outta
about democracy thing. Yeah, there's an election that's going on right now. We had declared candidates and other people interested in the outcome of that election come and speak at this microphone today while they're already campaigning for the March election. So if you want an election, guess what? You got it. Go elect your candidate. There's an election set right now to elect the permanent member of this council. So
Yes, it's me. It's
I just
public,
don't
sitting
find
in
a
the
lot
chambers.
I don't find a lot of compelling argument that, well, democracy is going to be frustrated if the current sitting member of this council representing the 10th district just continues on in that role, because they are electing their next choice right now. If they don't like, in the 10th district, if they don't like the job Heather Hutt is doing, guess what? They don't have to reelect her. If they like her, they can reelect her. That's what the democratic process is. But to disenfranchise this district for another half a year, to set us an expensive special election is, to me, would be calamitous for the people of the 10th district. And so I respectfully ask for your aye vote on this motion. Let's move forward. Let's bring our colleague Heather Hutt back into this chamber to speak for the people of the 10th district and vote for the people of the 10th district. And then let's get on with the regularly scheduled election of 2024. I ask for your aye vote.
Hi, J-Lo. Voting's all rigged. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to.
The guy who stomped out's all over there. He's in the way back row.
One of the comments that were made
came back in the room.
was to suggest that Ms. Hutt couldn't continue to serve as a caretaker. She was afforded that opportunity before she was officially appointed by this body. And so the district wouldn't go without having an advocate if we do it correctly. We can enable, because there's virtually no difference in the role of a caretaker. The only difference is that that member, if reappointed, would have the ability to exercise a vote that was not represented or elected by the people of the 10th
Didn't
district.
she just speak a
And
few
so,
minutes ago?
Again, I reflect on how we got here, folks. How we got here, sadly, came as a
I
result
know I'm kind of baked
of
a little.
conversations that happened in a back
Pretty
room.
sure she did.
This is how we got here. And are we going to continue to enable that? Because there was a lot of performative outrage around what occurred in those events.
Okay.
And
so
if
I
we're going to
thought.
be silent, or individuals are going to elect to be silent in these moments, it is hypocrisy. Because it's selectivity of what we are outraged about.
Yes,
and
you
what
know about
occurred
hypocrisy. You're all
on those
hypocrites.
tapes and what was exposed.
You're
and
all
I think what is
hypocrites.
critically important is the restoration of trust for the people of Los Angeles in this moment. Senator Alex Padilla had to endure 2 elections, one that elected him to represent, to serve in the position as for a term that concluded. In the same election, you had to vote for him twice in order for him to sustain and retain the seat as our California senator. Senator Delgado had to do the same thing. It is not unprecedented to be able to run into succeeding elections, one that is a special and one that is for the regular term. It is not unheard of. We are the 2nd largest city in the country.
She likes to talk too much
in
to have
the
a mask
state
on, Tron.
With the 4th largest economy. Let's not make the excuse about the cost of what democracy should be exercised in this moment and in these chambers and in this city. This
should
is about
just
an open
spend
and transparent process.
Plenty of money. Let's
A
just
process
spend.
that unfortunately has been mired in a lot of controversy. And I think it is the responsible way for us to move forward if we choose to restore the public's trust. And I ask you, colleagues, for your no vote.
Trust me, you're never going to get my trust. Never. It took you guys to sit down and
This
talk
time?
to sit down and actually sit
Seeing
down.
none,
and
Madam Clerk, let's
talk
open the roll,
and listen to each other.
close the roll, and tabulate the
See.
vote.
All yeses. What a
11
shocker.
ayes,
Oh,
one
there's
no.
one no. Take Rodriguez out and beat the shit out of him.
All right. Well, let's congratulate. We're going to send this forthwith.
Forthwith. They got the press there taking
And let's,
pictures of him.
Invite Councilwoman Hutt back to the floor.
Forthwith.
We're going to take a brief recess in order for the voting system to be updated. We'll take a brief recess.
I can't wait for her to roll in. We're going to have this same spiel in about, I don't know,
We're gonna send
6,
this
8
item
months.
urgent forthwith.
See what's done. Nothing. Except for them talking about how much they did. How
Mr.
much
President,
awesome shit
without
they've
objection,
done.
I'd like to ask that this
Are you
matter be
playing the
sent
music,
to
big doggy?
forthwith.
Yes, it has. Thank you. It requires a vote? Okay. We're going to vote on sending this item forthwith.
Even the
Madam
sound guy
Clerk.
wants to be out of here. He's playing the music
Open the
too
roll on
early.
this item.
Rodriguez
Close the
again.
roll, tabulate the vote.
We're going to have to take him out back. I didn't get a fucking
11
harumph.
ayes, 1 no.
Okay, this item will go forthwith.
I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
We're going to recess for a minute so that the voting system can be updated. And we're inviting Councilwoman Hutt back to the floor.
Let's see some public comment from like Mr. Sachs. You know, he owns the fucking chambers you guys are sitting in too. And he don't want no building on none of his land. And remember also, he owns the entire port of Los Angeles and Mass Chinese Theater as well in Hollywood. So don't be building and putting no fucking murals on his property unless you fucking tell him. And I'm guarantee he's gonna tell you no anyway, so you might as well not even ask him. Everything's his property, dude. Mr. Sachs owns a lot. You know, he's a baller, dude. He's one of those real estate billionaire trillionaires. You know. As soon as they start talking, guys, we'll put it. I don't want to hear the music. Put the scanner up. Hear what's going on in the world around me and all the ding dongs. And then we'll be out of here momentarily. We will be live tonight, guys, 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So please adjust your time zones. Yeah. No, Michael, he's just off his rocker. He's a little. Because I can tell you, no matter what.
Vicinity 27 Williams, requesting a backup area and a supervisor following a felony vandalism suspect, Crescent Heights in Wilshire.
Uh-oh. Felony vandalism. Yeah. So, yeah, he's probably took a bus there or whatever, took the metro there. He's not what you think he is. He's not what he thinks he is. I assure you of that. He doesn't own any of these properties, and he's cuckoo. You know, and he's probably not got much of a life, and he just inundates himself with these, you know, the goings-ons of the city council, the measures put forth, and yeah, nothing much else. And really, to be honest, that's why, you know, you have a few of them. And the guy today in that red shirt with the yellow writing on it, he was a whole new guy. Same with the guy with the American flag. Never heard him before either. And if you notice something about that dude, the American flag guy, which I didn't notice at first, I truly thought.
Unit 311, man 14960 Sherman Way. Suspect is male, black, gray shirt, blue jeans, exposing himself. His code 22163914.
Quit playing with your dinghy.
Go away, Baton.
Always over there masturbating or pulling his cock out. He's looking for some lunchtime fun. So yeah, you know, the guy, when he was talking, his voice was changing. Like at first he started like one way, and I thought, okay, well maybe that's really his voice. Then it slowly kind of changed. I was like, And then it really changed. Like he went into many different characters there. If you go back and listen to him, you know, yeah, he pulled his cock out. Put your cock away. But it is, you know, lunchtime. He's, like I said, looking for some lunchtime fun. Trying to get him laid. How did what change? Why does Pete's Jacket keep dancing down here? Well, they're happy that their favorite, that was the person they came to talk about and support was Heather Hunt, which was the councilwoman that I guess they wanted for their district. So there you go. That's why they were so happy when the vote went across. And basically, from what I gather, they're the ones voting on it when it should be really them that are voting on it. It's not the people, it's their constituents. And that's why it's corrupt, because it's all nothing but one side, and they all, you know, well, if you don't vote for my shit, I scratch your back, we scratch each other's backs, we all steal together kind of shit. You know, and that's really how it works, and that's why it's so corrupt, really. There's no opposition, that's why, you know, but I gather that if it was half-half, if you made it that way just to be equal and fair, like not much would get done. But not that much is getting done here. They sign things or whatever, sign the measures they want to sign and get everything passed. And what really changes?
Lieutenant Van Washington, under the bridge at the homeless encampment. See the victim, male, white, 30s to 40s beard, gray hooded sweatshirt, black shirt, black jeans. Stated that unknown suspect stabbed him in the knee. Suspect left location. Did not request RA. Could consent 2230 RD 1309.
So one transient stabbed another transient.
Collision Olympic in Normandy. Two vehicle TC, one vehicle fled. Red Jeep left his location.
There's the crazy guy.
Red Jeep female
putting his hands up.
On a colored clothing line.
There he goes.
In unknown direction, leaving the vehicle at scene. Code
That's the
20209,
one. That's the girl they want. It's the woman.
It's code 49, pursuing victory, subject in custody.
All right. So you had a car accident, then you had somebody stabbed in a homeless encampment.
600 units and ADW in progress, Hope and 9. Versus 1, standby for additional, it's code 3. It's incident 2236 and RD 162.
2 versus 1. Somebody's getting jumped.
Hopping a wall, northbound Fairfax, approaching Wilshire.
We got a wall hopper.
Run, bitch! Run!
Yeah, interesting little day. You guys here? Let's let her talk. Let's let her. Oh boy, she's getting all churchy. Let's get it.
North Beach unit, just as the
Oh, she crying?
71 Mason Avenue,
It is
Mill
an
Hispanic
honor
585, CN
for
150.
me to serve the people in the 10th district. It's not an easy place to be. But with all the support that we get here, I'll continue to do the work. I signed up to do the work. And my mom raised us to work for our people. I just want to say thank you. And I'm going to try not to be the crybaby, but I think I am.
I got one for you, Kevin.
Thank you, President, for presiding over this arduous
Guns.
and
razors.
thank you all colleagues for supporting me in these efforts. I appreciate you, friends and family and constituents. And now
And
I'm
now.
gonna put my glasses on and let's get to work. Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, we're back from our break.
Grifter tears.
We're back from recess. Do we need to recall the roll?
Yes, Mr. President. Blumenfield, De Leon, Harris Dawson, Hernandez, Hutt, Krikorian, Lee, McCosker, Park, Price, Rahman, Rodriguez, Soto Martinez, Yaroslavsky. 13 members in a quorum, Mr. President.
All right. Let's
get
we're
up
gonna
outta
members
here.
now to a special presentation.
Oh.
We invite Councilwoman Rahman and
better be like a
Council
fucking
President Krikorian.
stripper coming in.
I got a boner.
And let's see some hot strippers coming in. Fucking put a pole up in the middle of the room. Let the lights go low. Fucking Lenny. What's up, Leonard Ducano? You missed all the action, Lenny. You're late, but all the good stuff is done. Boy, there was some true fireworks going off today with this meeting. I'll tell you that. And I forgot they was even talking about the fireworks. Alright. I don't want to really watch that. Hold on. Well, I mean, I hear it. I don't want to hear the Hollywood. We could watch it. One of the best ever, you think? You guys think this is one of the best ever city council meetings? And just think, we didn't even have the goat. Goat Boy didn't even show up. Imagine if they did this shit for legit like 3 hours and just didn't do any talking and just did all listening. Could you imagine like having all those 3 dudes plus Goat Boy? Like, it'd be too much. They wouldn't be able to handle it. I mean, dude, LAPD was busy today. They had to throw out 2 people at least. 2 that we saw. You know what I mean? You got to remember, these people be sitting there for a while. They'll get loud and stupid. You know? Yeah, Mr. Sachs, all those fools be sick. Doing their jobs. Are they really doing jobs? Brock? I mean, they ain't really doing anything. If you ask me, you should get rid of every single person in that room. Get rid of them. Can all be automated as far as I'm concerned. They ain't doing nothing a computer couldn't do. Trust me. All they do is sit here and pat themselves on the back. It's all common sense shit. Let's get a clean team over there, clean it up. Let's build a homeless shelter and start getting them in there. The ones who don't want to leave, we'll have to figure that out. I mean, it's just common sense. Okay. I mean, just really is. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out what's going on, and they want the problem not solved because, again, the problem creates budget. Budget creates grift. They are grifters. Okay, as long as the problem's there, there's going to be budget, which means there's going to be grift. So that's it. That's really how it all works, you know? That's how it all works. Well, I don't say exterminate. I just say fire them. You don't gotta kill them. Just saying fire the people, and don't rehire anybody.
Female with mental illness, fifth in Mariposa, subject's the sister, female white, 38 years, short black hair, 5'6", 200, pink shirt, pink skirt, smoking with a glass face, diagnosed with schizophrenia, has previously attacked others.
Uh-oh.
Is currently yelling at the intersections. Code 3 and 22530 2025.
Attacked others? Uh-oh. All right, let's see what she's got to say. Not much, as usual.
So proud to
always have to read off the paper.
In recognition of the 100th birthday of Warner Brothers Studios, and to officially declare April 4th, 2023 as Warner Brothers Day in the city of Los Angeles. It's a feat to turn 100, no matter who or what you are.
It's where they
Warner
shot
Brothers has
Stooges.
uniquely shaped the culture of the city we know and love. They ushered in the golden era of Hollywood, and they were a major part of establishing Los Angeles as the movie powerhouse we know it is today. What's interesting to me as I did some research on Warner Brothers for today's resolution is that the story of Warner Brothers is actually an immigrant story. The story of Jewish immigrants from Europe who came to the U.S. with the hopes of finding a better life, a quintessentially American tale that so many of us can relate to, including myself. Harry, Albert, Sam, and Jack Warner, the sons of Polish immigrants, actually started with a shoe business, but drawn to the burgeoning movie theater industry, felt that you could start in the field from scratch. In 1903, they rented a vacant store in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, projecting movies in a storefront, and they realized they had a knack for deriving what it is an audience was looking for. As their enterprise prospered, the brothers opened more theaters, and in 1912, they decided to produce movies themselves. Sam became the technical chief of the studio,
I know
Albert
Columbia.
handled distribution,
They work with
Harry was
Columbia
the business head,
Pictures.
and Jack was the showman in charge of production. In 1925, they produced the first talkie ever made, The Jazz Singer, and revolutionized the movie industry forever. They became known for westerns starring Errol Flynn. They were the studio that signed Bette Davis, who was jokingly referred to as another Warner brother for all the revenue that she earned them. And they brought us the great Humphrey Bogart, who offered a versatility not found in actors at other studios, resulting in the iconic
The
Casablanca
Animaniacs.
and the line that defined an entire generation. Here's looking at you, kid. Warner's was also known for its films of social commentary, films with edge, films that made you question the status quo, films that made you confront equality and justice and the rise of fascism. Warner Brothers was the first major Hollywood player to stop doing business on principle with Hitler's Germany. No other studios dared to take on these issues, but Warner Brothers did, because as Jews in the early 20th century, the brothers themselves confronted these issues firsthand. Their bold, impactful storytelling still defines the studio a century later, and which is why I am so proud to officially declare April 4th Warner Brothers Day and to be a small part of their classically American tale.
Now, Burbank's
one
still
that
LA
would, in
County.
fact, make a pretty good film.
For sure.
And with that, I wish you a very happy 100th birthday to Warner Brothers.
Microphone. Well, they're what do you call it? Their sound guys are terrible.
Thank you very
All
thank
the
you very
crazy
much,
guys are right
Mr.
there.
President.
All three of them, the
Thank
ones
you,
that were cussing and
Councilmember
going crazy, are
Rahman.
all sitting together. They're a group.
It's reason enough to
gang.
celebrate a centennial anniversary of Warner Brothers just because of the contribution they've made to California's signature art form and industry in the motion picture industry. 18 of the winners
No,
of the
they're
Best
just
Picture Academy Award
awarding
have been
them
Warner Brothers, products.
commendation
15
for the
of
city for being
most
100 years
important
old.
100 films on the AFI Greatest American Film list are Warner Brothers movies. So that would be reason enough to celebrate Warner Brothers birthday and centennial. But also, I think it's important to note what an important role Warner Brothers has played for a century in building the economy of Southern California. For 100 years,
their homeboy,
people
Westo.
have come here not just to be a star, but to work in an industry and create better opportunities for themselves and create a middle-class life for themselves in Los Angeles because of Warner Brothers Productions and those of the other production companies here. But for 100 years, people have made their livelihood because Warner Brothers found its home here. One of those people was my grandfather, who started working for Warner Brothers in the
It's always
late
about, he always makes it
1930s,
about
early
him.
1940s, I'm not sure exactly, at a time when he couldn't find a lot of other opportunities.
Not that they all don't.
He snuck his way in, talked his way into a job, and spent a career working for Warner Brothers as an electrician. And that still is true today. Today, Warner Brothers employs about 10,000 corporate and production employees in Los Angeles County. Warner Brothers Entertainment spent $4.6 billion in revenues given to 14,000, almost 15,000 vendors in 2021, and almost another $2 billion in payroll across those corporate and production staff that I mentioned. So over $6 billion a year in economic activity produced by Warner Brothers. And that is the sort of thing that keeps the economy of Southern California vibrant. It's the reason that we have to continue to fight to keep this industry here in Southern California. And so I'm especially proud to join with Councilmember Rahman in celebrating 100 years of contributions that Warner Brothers has made to American culture, to California's signature art form, and to the economy of Los Angeles.
So it's all about the money, ladies and gentlemen, always.
I'd like to invite Daphne
If they weren't bringing billions, we wouldn't be
Warner
awarding
Brothers
them
just to
nothing.
say a few
So
words,
it's not about who they
in
are.
recognition of today.
It's about the money they bring. Don't
Daphne, you're
misunderstand it.
welcome.
It's always about this. Always.
On behalf of Warner Brothers Discovery, I would like to thank Councilmember Rahman and Council President Krikorian for all of your support and for the entire council for recognizing our centennial birthday. Warner Brothers has produced an iconic
Nice mask.
and library of feature films,
95?
television, and streaming programs. And as we look toward the future, we look forward to our next 100 and producing more content here in Los Angeles. So thank you again.
Thank you, Daphne, and thank you all for taking a moment to acknowledge this incredible local history and incredible local cultural powerhouse.
That you had to
Thank you.
Google an
Thank
hour
you,
ago
Councilmembers.
and print out on your
And thank
printer.
you, Warner Brothers, and it's obvious that that's not all.
Act like
folks.
you cared. You didn't know shit about Warner Brothers.
So we got that? Okay. Moving right along. Let's, who? Councilman Costco, comment, please.
Thank you very much. I couldn't resist to make a long meeting, just 1 minute longer. I want to
course.
point out that we have the beautiful Warner Grand Theater in San Pedro that my father still calls the Warner Brothers, built in 1931. It is a beautiful movie palace owned by the city. It's going to close shortly because we're doing renovations, about $15 million worth of renovations. But most importantly, in the mid-1950s, a
Count
young usher
Demonet.
met a young candy girl.
Count
In Battle
the money.
Days, we called them candy
Count
girls.
money.
They fell in love and married and
Demonet.
became Mr. and Mrs. McCosker. But for the Warner Grand Theater, we would not have this generation of the McCoskers. So thank you.
All right.
Oh, shout out to the McCoskers, whoever the fuck they are.
Okay, members, Madam Clerk, what items can we vote on at this time?
We
Oh,
done.
I'm sorry. Councilwoman.
I'd
floor
like
is
to
yours.
call item 17 for a separate vote, please.
I like the police doorman over there. He's just
Okay.
the best behind the red
That
rope.
shall be the order.
Like the rope's going to stop anybody.
Madam Clerk, what items can the council
Hey, man,
vote on now?
don't be hopping over my rope.
Mr. President, council may now vote on items 11, 12, 14, 16, 18 through 22, 24 through 29, sir.
Okay, members, any comments on these items? Seeing none, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
All yeses this time. They went beat the shit out of Rodriguez out back.
Madam Clerk, let's move on to the items that we need to
Man,
call
if you don't
special
vote
for
fucking yes
discussion.
this time, you finna get
Yes,
socked
Mr.
up.
President. First item that was called special is item number 13, and that was called special by Councilmember Ms. Lee for comment, sir.
Mr. Lee, the floor is yours.
Mr. President. Colleagues,
Man,
you know,
we
when
heard
this
you
ordinance
talk
came
2
before
times
us,
already
the
today.
first vote, I brought up the staggering increases in catalytic converter thefts that the residents of Los Angeles are experiencing, noting that there have been several hundred more thefts so far this year compared to the same period in 2022. The 728% increase in thefts in just the last 5 years is only part of the reason as to why this ordinance is necessary. As soon as we took our first vote a few weeks ago, I immediately heard an influx of stories, some from people in this chamber, some from the staff members of members here in this room, about the long waits for cars to be repaired and the substantial costs associated with those repairs. I made the mistake of saying last time that not only was this a cost, but that you would be out without your car for 1 or 2 weeks. I was soon corrected by many people who said it wasn't just a few weeks, it was actually 2 or 3 months that people had to wait for their catalytic converters to not only to receive them, but for them to be installed because of the large number of catalytic converters that are being stolen from our communities.
See, so you just talking out your ass.
So people go months without these vehicles that they rely on for work, to drop off their kids at school, to visit loved ones. It's an unexpected cost that can, like I said, come in the thousands of dollars. But it is, let's make no mistake, this is a crime happening to the constituents in our community that's hurting people, and one that we are allowing to fail to act on if we do not pass this today. I know I'm not alone in hearing these stories. I'm sure all of you have read the LA Times article highlighting the impact that these thefts have had on our communities. Everyone who has had a catalytic converter stolen knows that the theft is only one part of it. You pay for the bill, wait for the part, and then waiting for the repair and really having no idea when you'll be getting your car back to make this crime more impactful than just the price on the invoice. This is not an issue that funding can fix. It's not something that we can install a new city program to fix. The only fix for this issue is curbing the criminal activity that is causing this crisis for Angelenos. Colleagues, this is a common sense measure that simply provides law enforcement the tools with an additional tool that will protect our communities from rampant and damaging theft. Colleagues, I urge your I vote if you take a look at any of the social media feeds that have happened within your communities, you will see the constant complaint from constituents who have lost catalytic converters and have no means of transportation left. So please, colleagues, this is an important step that we need to take to protect our constituents, and that's why I urge an I vote today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Hernandez.
Yeah, he fucked
Thank
up.
you, Council President. And thank you, Councilmember Lee, for making my argument in support of why we don't need to move forward with this ordinance. Colleagues, I rise today to ask you for your no vote on this item. This ordinance will not make our city safer, and it will not prevent the theft of catalytic converters. Councilmember Lee just described to us the amount of time, the amount of money, the labor, the impact that catalytic converter theft has on families ranging from all different incomes. It's a problem that we can prevent, and as a city, we can take action to prevent. This ordinance will not make people or their property whole. Again, this just criminalizes the possession of catalytic converters if you cannot, present that it's yours. And even through that presentation, it requires more of you than what it requires you to register your car. More often than not, people who have their catalytic converter stolen will not be able to use their car until it is fixed, like Councilmember Lee said, and it does take months, and a catalytic converter can cost over $5,000 to replace. And this does not include the labor to reinstall the catalytic converter.
Who's buying
The
a
ordinance is a
$5,000
costly one for
cat
the city.
for
It
one
would lead
cat?
to more cases for the city attorney.
Some have 4,
It would
but
lead
no
to more
way.
money spent on courts and more money spent on
5,000.
public defenders. And I would just like to uplift that the Public Defenders Union has said there are already penal codes in the system that are used to
$5,000.
currently today criminalize people for the theft of catalytic converters. And, you know, we talked about the increase in the thefts. I think we can clearly show that criminalizing this does not prevent the theft of catalytic converters. I have heard the concerns for our community, but again, this ordinance does not do anything on addressing the root causes of crime and actually investing in our and doesn't invest our city resources in preventing this theft, which I want to emphasize. We need to be solutions oriented, and we need to figure out how we stop this theft, because we can do that. Many Angelinos are understandably concerned and have been victim to catalytic converter theft, and I believe that we should be supporting those communities with our city resources by providing them education and by also using our city resources, which our office is going to do, using our city resources to install anti-catalytic converter theft infrastructure in vehicles, because we do nothing. When we criminalize people, we're not doing things to make our communities whole. We're just not. We're just creating more people who have convictions who then are put into situations of desperation.
Aww.
I hope that instead of further penalizing something that is already considered a crime under our existing penal codes, we can work together with our partners to make catalytic converter theft prevention devices more accessible to our residents. Our city can do a better job in investing in our communities to actually prevent the theft and prevent crimes of desperation like this one. And again, District 1 is planning an event, and we're planning to do just that in our district, where we're going to be using our city resources to implement and invest anti-catalytic converter infrastructure into vehicles so that we can prevent the hardship that people go through. Because we can't just keep responding to harm. We need to do the work to prevent it. I invite the rest of my colleagues to join me in preventing catalytic converter theft and being proactive instead of just being reactive. Let's work together to be solutions oriented, because as we've seen with other societal issues, is that we cannot criminalize our way out of these things. By voting to criminalize the mere possession of a catalytic converter, we will be entrenching the criminalization of poverty in our penal code, a practice that already destabilizes the lives of too many residents and causes people to enter a cycle of the revolving door that is the criminal justice system. I've organized expungement clinics for over 5 years throughout Southern California.
They go
I've
to
met
jail
people
when they
convicted
steal the
over
cats.
and over and over again of misdemeanors of different things. And that criminalization has led them to moments of desperation and recidivism. A criminal conviction and jail time can damage someone's life forever, leading to collateral consequences like the inability to obtain jobs, rent apartments, get a loan, and more. This puts people in a revolving door of desperation and recidivism again. We cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Like
It's 2023.
electing you idiots.
Smart justice. There's practical policies that we can implement. Let's work towards theft prevention. Let's work towards preventing the harm in the first place. And let's work to actually address the drivers of harm and violence. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Soto Martinez, followed by Councilman Marquis Sosa.
Give you my word.
Thank you so much.
So she doesn't want the people further
Hernandez for your comments.
arrested
I'm going to
or
be voting no, but it's not. And I want
for
to explain
stealing.
why.
I get it.
I have heard a lot
Just
of this. In
ruins
the
their
district.
lives. Get it.
It is true. It oftentimes
Doesn't
takes
ruin
about
your
2
life.
months for the repairs to be finalized. A lot of money is spent. I think everyone's trying to debate what's the most effective way to serve our constituents. I was supportive of a motion that came here to make sure that serial numbers were put on dealerships, which was brought here by Councilmember Blumenfield. I thought that was a sort of common sense solution. But I don't think this is one, because I'm wary that the way we're going to find this out is by doing more traffic stops, more targeting of black and brown communities. But I think we should be looking into systems that actually could prevent the theft. There's been a lot of discussions in some of the neighborhood councils to do welding clinics, right? A lot of times catalytic converters are stolen because all you have to do is unscrew it from the vehicle. That happens in a lot of different trucks.
They cut, idiot.
Another discussion is sort of putting a cage around the catalytic converter. Those costs are more for normal working people. It can range about $1,000, but those are solutions that actually work. And so when we discuss this item, I think
it's your fault, ladies and gentlemen.
It's putting more money into the system, more cases being brought up by the city, those money that we're spending. And so let's look into using our resources and money into things that can actually prevent that from happening. Obviously, that doesn't get to
Like
the
what?
root cause of why people are doing these thefts.
So
That's crimes of desperation.
so it's useless.
I've heard many stories about sort of organized crimes, things being welded out in Mexico. But I think we can give the public something that can actually prevent. And so because of those
No, Bobby,
reservations, and I
can't
think,
do that.
there are other solutions.
Because
that
that's
could work
wrong
for the
against
public,
people of
I will
color,
be voting
apparently.
no.
Because apparently it's only people of color stealing them.
Councilman Mark.
I mean, that's what, basically what I get from that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and I want to thank Mr. Lee for bringing
I don't know.
this,
I'm not telling you
issue
that's
before
what's
the
happening.
council
I'm
and
telling you
this
what
kind
I
of
gather from
conversation.
that man's words.
I,
And apparently it's your fucking fault because you need to go and put a cage and spend another $1,000 so people won't steal your shit. And when they do, you should feel bad about them getting convicted when they do.
from cars
That's what I gather.
parked in the parking lot at my district office while security was on duty with about 11 cameras surrounding the building. Now, stealing anything out of a car, a purse, a catalytic converter, anything, is already illegal. I will tell you, though, it's been over a year. The people who stole it are on camera, and nothing's happened. And in fact, I was just pulling up the emails because the employee says that there's a policy that says if you're a city employee and something gets stolen from you on city property, the city's supposed to help you replace it. Well, it's been a year and a half. It's been a year and a half, and she hasn't been able to get anything replaced. And what I fear about this is it has the city putting out more resources in a way that doesn't make the problem better. We have laws already on the books. We got video of the people stealing from my district office. Nothing's happened. We haven't found the people, we haven't found the catalytic converters, and we haven't helped the lady fix the car.
But what happens if you did?
I really want to, again, push
Should you not
back
charge
on
them?
things that take more things out of the community. Because what happens is, now what's going to happen is, and I realize everybody doesn't face this, but someone's going to get pulled over, and the police is going to say, I think you have catalytic converters. And you're going to have to explain that you don't, or get into a big fight with the officer. You can assert your rights in that moment, but that means you're giving up 90 minutes of your day going back and forth with an LAPD officer over this. And again,
It's only
even in
LAPD.
the situation where you catch me with the catalytic converters and you punish me, it doesn't help anybody. It just makes the city spend money punishing you.
See
and
that?
So again, our community
Just let 'em go.
resources in. When somebody gets stolen, something stolen, the city should do everything we can to make sure they're made whole, not to punish another person. And so I'll
For
be
stealing
voting
them.
no on this issue, but I think
We shouldn't punish
it's a
the people
conversation
stealing
that we
them.
need to continue. I want to thank Mr. Hernandez for putting forward some solutions.
'Cause that doesn't
I
help.
certainly want to join her in seeing to the extent to which those are workable. But again, if we say we're trying to help people who are victims, let's actually help people who are victims. Thank you.
I tell you what, I got a rule right now. You catch any motherfucker of any skin type, because they love to use the color thing. It's always people of color, this, that, the other. We all know that everybody's there's thieves of all types. So how's about this? You cut the fucking hand off after you catch them stealing a catalytic converter. You'll be walking around a lot of one-handed motherfuckers, and you and I will be walking around knowing, oh well, we know he steals.
Object, and we have to have deterrence.
You think he's gonna
What we're
risk
talking
getting
about
caught
here
second time?
Is making it
Making
the
you
consequence
tell me.
worse, so that in the rare times when someone is caught, that there is a heavier deterrent, because this is a big problem that we're facing. So while I like to lean in on the
Stop stealing.
the softer
You won't go to
approaches
jail.
of educating
Simple,
people,
motherfucker.
prevention and all the rest, I think we need to do it all. We have
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
I am supporting this, as well as any other creative way we want to go after it in an education and harm reduction way. I'm all in for those as well.
That's
But
for
I think
any of you stealing all that
it's
shit.
about doing it all. That's why I support it.
That's for all you
Councilman Lee.
motherfuckers. You know this, and you notice there's no sympathy for you
Mr. President,
being out
again,
5,000 for
some
a
of the things that
catalytic
we've been
converter,
talking about,
which
some of the things
catalytic
that were said
converters,
about, like,
there's 1 to
catching
4 on a car.
catalytic converters, those are
Even
all
4 is
things
not
we
$5
should be
grand. They're
all
lying.
in every office, and I think every office is trying to do community events around trying to prevent these catalytic converter thefts, trying to provide resources to prevent these catalytic converter thefts. But at the end of the day, colleagues, this is a crime, and this is something that is affecting people. You just need, right now, the LAPD, when they catch somebody, when they are in a situation where they find catalytic converters, it is hard for them to trace back. So all they're asking is for proof that that catalytic converter, you work in a garage, you purchase some bill of sale to show that you have proof of these multiple catalytic converters. I don't know many people who drive around with catalytic converters in their car just on the seat next to them.
True.
If they're caught with these, then and you show that you have a proof, that a bill of sale, this is what we're asking to do. Just to give a tool to hopefully curb the people who are committing this crime. When you talk about we have it on camera, and we talk about that, we haven't been able to solve these things. That's exactly my point. We don't have the tools. When we catch somebody with these, and
It's a smog device, Beanie Cat.
Show that they have multiple catalytic converters on them. Well, there's no way to trace back to the cars. Well, there's nothing in their power that they can do. And that is why this is a crime
I'll tell you,
that
Beanie, hold on.
continues to grow and grow. I have, Chief.
It's a smog device because we have too many cars, a lot of smog. So they created these devices that kind of filter the air. It's really a giant filter for the exhaust. It's really what it is. That's what it boils down to. So it filters the exhaust before the mufflers, you know what I mean? Between the motor and the muffler. And it's filtering the air so you have less, exhaust pollutant coming out of the air.
Chief, you've heard some of the arguments that some of my colleagues have made. And right now, from what I'm hearing from the rank and file, is frustration of when they run into these situations and trying to help people in our communities. What is the problem right now?
Mad Trees,
and
they're
why
from
is this
another
ordinance
country.
Something that would hopefully you see.
They
as
don't
being a
have
tool
those
to
there
help.
Thank you, Councilman.
on their cars because they don't have a whole lot of
Hello?
cars and those
Thank
no
you.
smog issues. Like smog
First of all, if
pumps,
I can address some of
cats.
the concerns
Those
that
things
come
aren't on their
from
cars
the
over there.
council about
Apparently
prevention
so.
and about other tools. That is something that we are invested heavily in. Obviously, the number one deterrent for crime is the education of the public, the fortification of their property, their vehicles, their behavior, in order to reduce their susceptibility to being victimized by crime. Every division in
I guess I should have
LAPD
said
is
that,
involved
Beach.
in
The
an
end part.
etching activity that they regularly schedule. We've been doing etching on catalytic converters, on windows, on other car parts that are normally associated. But the frustrating part about it is that the laws that exist on the books that are related to the possession of potential stolen property is that despite the comment that you brought up about what is a person doing with a
It looks like
sawed-off,
me.
catalytic converter in their car or on their person.
Put a hat on.
Is that in order to charge them with the current laws that are on the books, we would have to prove that that item was stolen. We'd have to trace that stolen item back to the person who made the crime, and then we would be able to present for a receiving stolen property crime, which is in the penal code. And due to the costs associated with that, I've been assured that our detectives can get a felony filing on that because of the aggregate costs of that. But in the absence of an identifying marking on the catalytic converter or any other
Just missing the
immediacy,
smoking scan hat.
observation of the crime being committed, etc., that ties that particular catalytic converter back to a victim, then we have nothing to detain them on. So we are heavily invested in the prevention piece, the
I like that
education
fun,
piece
Merlin.
for the community. This would then just be another tool in the prevention aspect. From
Anything
the
for a laugh,
standpoint from our experience, or from my experience as a captain of North Hollywood,
Winning.
captain of Central Division, when these things were coming up, was we weren't making arrests for persons that were involved in this activity that were incidental. This is not people who are just, oh, I don't know what to do today, I'm going to take a catalytic converter. Most of these are organized groups of individuals who are going out and melting down the catalytic converters for the platinum that is inside of them, and so they trade that. So these are not these are organized groups that are doing this. This organized criminals. So this would be another tool to go after them in that way. The other part that I want to address is the cost. Because this would be a misdemeanor, there would be 2 avenues of enforcement activity. That
Do you notice how he's just...
One would be the immediate release from custody if a person had the required identification and didn't meet any of the requirements to book someone. For instance, a warrant for their arrest. Then they would be given a citation in the field. The evidence would then be booked, and then it would go to direct filing to the city attorney's office. That would be about an hour and a half total time invested in that particular investigation. So at a police officer 2 median cost, including cap, that's $89 an hour. If the individual did not have sufficient ID, or they had a warrant, or it would require them to be booked, that would probably extend the entire encounter out to about 2.5 hours. So that, and again, this is a direct filing with the city attorney's office. There is no detective follow-up that's required unless this was tied in to a larger crime picture, which we would become aware of because we made the stop and we were able to make the stop and conduct the investigation because the person would be in custody for misdemeanor. We would then have the legal ability to continue on with that investigation and potentially tie them into utilizing some of the other felony sections that are on the books.
Notice how he never mentions skin color. All the councilmen and women seem to. Him, it's just whoever steals.
They can to partner with our offices, with our
And that's the way I feel.
Groups.
It don't matter what your skin color is. I want my cat. I don't care.
From having these items stolen from cars.
Buddy.
We've heard over and over of how this is affecting the constituents that we all represent. And this is just yet a tool, another tool for them to be able to try to help curb
I'm gonna go get some
criminal
water.
activity that is
I'll be
happening in
right
our
back, guys. I
communities.
didn't get no
As
water.
the chief explained,
Or
a lot of
any
the different instances that they run up against
Be
are
right back.
organized crime units sawing off these items and having them in position. I don't know a reason why someone should have a sawed-off catalytic converter if they do not have some sort of bill of sale or some proof that they legally are allowed to have that catalytic converter in their possession. So, colleagues, again, we are all taking preventive measures. We understand that that this is on the books. We often, especially when things rise to the level that it's affecting our communities right now, whereas 5 years ago, there were like some 700 or 800 catalytic converters, and today there's some 7,000, 8,000. We have seen how this increase in crime has affected our constituents and the amount of time that they are now left without their cars. So I'm asking you, this is a crime. This is something affecting the community members in our districts. This is a tool for LAPD to have to hopefully, will this 100% eliminate it? Absolutely not. But if this is a tool for them to have to hopefully try to help the problem or deter the problem from happening, this is something that we as a council need to do to protect our communities. Thank you. Again, I urge an aye vote.
Councilwoman Hernandez.
Thank you. And I took notes while you were speaking. Thank you so much for being here. And if my notes serve correct, you said that your folks can already get felony cases out of issues like this, right?
Under the set of circumstances where we can either, because of observation, tie that person into a victim, or if somebody had taken advantage of one of our systems, the Councilmatic initiatives, to get a identifying number etched into the catalytic converter, then yes. But the vast majority of catalytic converters out there don't meet that criteria. And in the vast majority of the instances where we would contact somebody today, where they wouldn't have, or somebody would have a catalytic converter in their possession, not have a reason to have it, not have documentation to have it, but there's no identifier on the catalytic converter, that would be the end of the contact.
Okay, but we can charge felony cases. It's possible. And so I just want to be clear, like, we don't need to add a misdemeanor when we can already charge these cases as felonies. I believe the etching, please correct me if I'm wrong, and thank you for your answer, is that the etching is used to determine if the catalytic converter is connected to that car after it's been stolen, right?
Correct.
So it's been cut off already, the person doesn't have the catalytic converter, that's what the etching does, right?
Yes.
But does the LAPD actually have events where they weld on anti-catalytic converter theft infrastructure to vehicles, or is it just the etching work?
No.
So, excuse me, Councilwoman, at this time, LAPD only engages in etching events.
Got it.
As the commanding officer of Rampart area from 2018 to 2022, I could tell you I've had etching events in that community once every quarter. Now at Commercial Crimes, as the individual who's in charge of the TRAP entity, the Task Force for Regional Auto Prevention, we now coordinate etching events not only in the county but in the city as well.
Okay.
And we have actually coordinated events with the individual divisions, but we are not at this point able to go into welding cages around catalytic converters because of the cost. We give steering wheel locks
Right.
out to
Gave Stinks a
prevent
little
motor
food.
vehicle theft.
Gets hungry.
But etching events are our best next option. You know, when you're looking at motor vehicle thefts year to date, as of April 10th, we're down 8% with motor vehicle thefts. But in that same 3-month, 4-month time span, we're up 40% in catalytic converter thefts. It's a major issue. The Assembly bill and the Senate bill that were passed in 2022 assisted our Task Force for Regional Auto Prevention to combat catalytic converter theft by going to looking at the core recyclers and the automotive industry machine shops, but it did nothing on the division on the ground level. This ordinance would assist us in looking at that on the ground level. We are looking at organized crime. We are looking at the individuals who are fences for catalytic converters, but we are seeing that we have nothing to
Band cats,
divisional officers or ground pounders
Little Stinks
in
was
the
in the
field to
front
help
room
us
waiting
with this
for a little
catalytic converter
food.
theft at the moment. And as we look at the felony counts that you're
All right, wrap this
suggesting,
shit up, B. I
it's
gotta
only
go.
if we can get identifiable victim,
I gotta
where we
get
can
to
actually
packing some
tie
stuff.
that catalytic converter to a victim. If we can't get that link, then we have no recourse on the individual who has this.
Oh,
catalytic
there he
converter.
is.
This
What's up,
ordinance
Stank?
is the only thing that can assist us in that matter.
Can you, thank you
Now
very
you're
much.
happy, boy?
So what you're saying is that the resources are spent in etching, but etching only serves when the catalytic converter has already been stolen, so it doesn't prevent the theft. And you're not doing welding of catalytic converter anti-theft infrastructure, so we're not doing everything that we can to prevent the theft. So that's just one thing. But can you tell me why you think that you need this ordinance to prevent the theft of catalytic converters?
This would assist our officers when they receive these radio calls at 2 a.m. from a citizen who says that they hear the noise or they hear a catalytic converter being stolen.
A little
or being
Cadillac
taken, and they
converter.
get out to the location and they locate an individual walking down the street with a catalytic converter. And at that point, we have no way of linking that catalytic converter to a car or to a reporting party.
But you're
'cause they
saying
don't-
that the victim called at that time,
well,
right?
oftentimes they call, but they don't want contact afterwards, unfortunately. So as a result, we have just an individual who has a catalytic converter. We have done traffic stops where we have stopped the individual for an unrelated incident. We find catalytic converters in the car. We have done rollbacks to houses on other issues to find catalytic converters in those houses. But we have no link to where those catalytic converters are linked to.
Yeah. Well, so it sounds like then we need to do more community engagement and education on letting folks know, like, hey, you have rights around your catalytic converter, and if it's stolen, follow through, so that we can pursue through the existing law these cases, correct? So that could be a venture that we should probably explore.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Got it.
And one that we are consistently engaged in. And to your point about cages, which is a very, very good.
Well, I mean,
competitive
even
tool.
the anti-theft infrastructure,
Right.
there's
Any-
different things, yeah.
Any anti-theft infrastructure. Many times throughout my career, when I was a senior lead officer, there are material things that we have access to because of donations or grants or city funding, like the captain had said about vehicle locks, right? The wheel locks, the club, right? So we would give those out. But
Well, out
that
of
would be
19
part
million
of a
cars,
litany
Willie, that's
of
not
other
bad.
options that, as a senior lead officer, we would be telling the community about kill switches and about back when alarms was a thing back in the 90s. Investing
Stop.
in a better car
Get
alarm
back.
and giving that.
Get away from the vehicle.
preventative Education piece.
Step back.
Is a huge
Remember that
part
one?
of the crime prevention.
Like the
strategy.
Viper alarms.
How does criminalizing the possession of
You are too close to the vehicle. Step back.
Well, I mean, obviously, from just the wording of the law, this is going to be a detention about
I still
a crime
remember
that already
those.
occurred, right? This is we can't precog crimes, right? So the disruption of the activity by an organized crime group that is involved in this activity is the prevention strategy. If people know that more like car stereos, right, was a huge thing in the 90s. But when people started to get smarter about the protection of their car stereos, the identification of it, they became less and less because people knew there'd be consequences for having 4 car stereos on the floorboards of my cars. So as the people understand that there are consequences for that behavior, they would change their behavior. In order to deal, or in order
We need to
deal
go
with
back
the
to
new,
car alarms,
the,
but
the new environment.
it went to the point where nobody
And,
gave a
I
fuck. They're
shared
like,
earlier
hurry
that
up
I had
and turn that
organized
shit
counseling
off,
clinics
man.
For 5 years throughout Southern California.
Go off
and
for
I
10
come
hours
across
when
those
fools would
people
go away
who
and leave their car.
Over and over again, had over 31 convictions because, some of these things don't work to deter. It just works to criminalize. And so what I'm hearing from this conversation is that we need to do a better job on educating people on what follow through they need to do to make sure that you can file your cases. And I want to uplift that as a council member, I'm going to be using my resources to organize an event.
I hope
where
they
we
steal
can
your
install
shit.
and pay for anti-theft around catalytic converters because we know that etching is done and that's great.
I hope they take
but
your
we need
shit.
to do more because we're
What are you
not
doing,
doing everything we
Sniper?
can to prevent the theft of catalytic converters.
What are
And
you
I just want to
doing?
say that if folks decide to move this forward, I would like to do a study on it to show that it's going to be black, brown, and low-income people and immigrants that are going to be most
What are you
disproportionately
doing?
impacted by the creation of this penal code.
What are you
And
doing?
if y'all are okay with that, that's okay. But I want to do a follow-up because I know that's what it's going to show. And I just appreciate your time. As a council member, I'm going to do more to prevent the crime. And I spoke with officers in my district, and they talked about some of it being organized crime, but they also talked about it involving college students who want to make quick money, who do this. It also talked about how most of the people who were involved in this had previous convictions. So people who have been forced into desperation and desperate moments that we have not done enough to bring back into our communities. So I asked for your no vote on this, but before that, if I could have the city attorney, I just want to ask them a question, if that's okay. I know I went over. I appreciate
That's all right,
the time.
Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
See, it's always about their communities, this, that, and the other. I mean, shouldn't it be just about everywhere? I mean, if you're a thief, you're a thief. And you shouldn't feel bad for the ones that are convicted for being thieves. They should just get a job and stop being thieves. It's what most people do. It's what most people do. Okay? And I know they want you to feel bad for the thief, especially if the thief is of color, apparently. Because there's no people in jail, like we said earlier, that are white. White people do not exist in jail. There is none.
How many hours are spent by your prosecutors to file and close a misdemeanor case?
Councilmember, rather. I'm actually not with the office's criminal branch, so I'm not responsible or even really knowledgeable on that front. I did reach out last night once the request came in from your office for a representative. Unfortunately, due to workload, we weren't able to find anyone that would be able to adequately answer that at this point, so that's where things stand.
Okay.
And I don't want to guess, obviously.
No, I appreciate you for being here. Thank you. I will end with this. We have a choice to continue to waste money on the criminalization of folks through prosecution in the courts, or we can do something better and actually use our resources to prevent the theft of catalytic converters. And regardless of how we move today, I am going to follow up to study the implementation of this penal code to show y'all how this disproportionately will impact Black, Brown, Indigenous, and low-income communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris Dawson.
Thank you so much. And,
So again, if you're a white thief,
Councilwoman
you're shit out of luck.
Hernandez for
Right? If you're a white thief, you're shit out of luck. But if you're a thief of color, she's going to help you.
Alone in this.
She's your freedom fighter for you.
There are very few.
I hope
laws
somebody
that
of color
don't
steals her
disproportionately
shit.
Impact the categories of people
I'd love to
that
see
you,
her response to it.
described, and so that's why whenever we expand
Or
criminalization,
$5,000
expand the
catalytic
state,
converter.
I always have questions about it. My question to the city attorney is specifically this: what are the list? Do you have a sense of the list of products that one can be arrested just for possessing without a receipt? Since I've been in the council, we made bicycles in some state of disrepair in that category, where if you have more than one of them in at some level of
putting
disrepair,
hair
it's
everywhere,
unclear what
man.
the level is, and you don't have the receipt, you can get arrested for that. Now we're proposing
few
to do the
hundred
same thing
wick
for catalytic
each one.
converters. Do you have other products that are in that category?
Council member, I think I would have to defer to the chief or the captain if there's something that they can
undo
think
stuff, and I don't know how to put it
First
all
thing
back.
that jumps to mind is
Thanks.
fireworks.
Well,
Simply
fireworks are illegal
possessing
altogether, whether you have the receipt or
in
not,
the-
right?
in the city
Yeah.
of LA.
Right.
Yeah.
Anywhere
so,
in the county,
uh,
not just the city.
There is a municipal code about the possession of a shopping cart. When it is simply in possession, because normally shopping carts have the identity of that person that's put on there. Sir, those
Yeah.
are the first two that jump to mind.
Thank you. I just, that is a legitimate question on my part, because it just strikes me that we have these category of things that poor people almost solely are likely to have or have been observed having, where you have to produce a receipt in order to prevent being arrested. So I just wanted to see what the range of products
Poor
was for
people that have less money still buy stuff and keep receipts too. I don't
Any
understand
other comment,
it.
members? We've had a
What the
robust
fuck
discussion.
does that
Mr. Lee,
mean?
we've had a robust discussion on this item. The chair is recommending an aye vote. But let me say, I
really see 'em.
do like the idea of the workshops that Councilwoman Hernandez is going to be organizing, and we'd like to work with you on that. And I think it certainly is appropriate that we have some kind of follow-up study to see what the impact
That's a good
of
picture,
this
you spank man.
measure has been. So with that, colleagues, Madam Clerk, let's open the roll on this item.
Let's get up out of here. I gotta get going.
Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
Oh, we got some no's, yeses, a whole bunch. We split. First time I've ever seen it.
No's.
Let's see.
Okay. What's next before us at this time?
Next, Mr. President, if council can vote on item 31, and for this one,
I think Councilman Lee is
Yes.
recusing himself.
So we can hold on a moment while Mr. Lee leaves the room
You better get up out of here.
and take a moment.
Any comment
Get
on
up
this
out
item?
of here, Mr. Lee. Get the fuck out.
Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes. Mr. President, there is a request to send item 31 forthwith, sir.
That will be the order. Madam Clerk, what's next?
Next would be item 17, and that was called special by Councilmember Hernandez for a separate vote, please.
Okay. Okay, members, any other comments on 17? Seeing none, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
Tabulate
11
the
ayes, 1 no.
vote. Hernandez says no, but everybody said yeah.
Okay, what's next before us, Madam Clerk?
Next, council has the closed session items, and those would be items 15 and 32, sir.
Okay, let's direct the sergeants to clear the room. Ask the members to, well, let's
Yeah,
clear the room
sorry,
for a
it was
closed
on the
session
other
vote.
screen and I didn't realize it. The other one's off a little bit. Let me refresh this one. I don't know why it does that. Don't know why it does it, mates. There is your domain. That looks like me right there with the red tie. The sweet ass hair fucking hug. Oh, here we go. Hold on, stinkums. Hold on. Hold on, I don't want to hear that shit. Let me, oh, no, I made it not live too. Let me refresh it really fast. Let me refresh it real fast, man. We guys are almost done here. We're almost done. There we go. We're back. Potholes, they're everywhere. Nozzles. You know, it's always something. It's always some water conservation device. Low flow toilets, low flow water nozzles. That's always something. Yeah, I think it's about done here. Stinks is right here. I can't give you the Stinks cam. I mean, he's right here. You can't even see him. He's right there. Well, let me see. Look at you. Huh? For now, I guess. Ooh, ooh. Baby. Just a big baby. Just gotta flush 3 times. I remember the old school toilets, boy. Those things, powerful toilets. Yeah, you gotta have those low flow, low flush toilets here. It is mandatory. Same as solar. Solar now. It's mandatory, new construction, So if you're building a brand new home from scratch, it's mandatory. So, yeah. They want the grid to fail hard. I mean, do we already have power problems? So switching everybody to solar, switching every car to electric is just... Where do they think this power is coming from? Straight out of the air? You catching lightning, which almost never happens here in Southern California? I don't know. Love and Gumbo, thank you so much for the subscription to Twitch Prime for 5 months. And of course, welcome back for more time. Welcome back for more time, Love and Gumbo. Solar toilets, yeah. Now they want to do a mandatory gas stove. I'm sorry, mandatory electric stove. That's the best part. So now you want an electric stove too, to again strain the power grid. Because I don't know if you guys know, for some of the ones who don't live here, there's things called flex alerts, and we have them all the time, every single motherfucking summer. In fact, I'll be going through them, I don't know, in the next month or so. Okay. As it heats up, everybody puts their air conditioners on because everybody wants to be comfortable. And then next thing you know, it's crazy fucking, power bills. And there's this flex alert like, hey, during fucking, 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, turn your AC off. Like, dude, that's the time you need it the most. Are you fucking kidding me? So everybody still keeps it on. And then the power goes out because there's too much strain on the grid. So yeah, dude. And then, of course, they charge you even more during those peak times, of course. So, yeah, man, it's a whole little game. And I can't believe they even want to make, like, commercial restaurants. So you go and get a steak. How long is it going to take to get your steak cooked on an electric stove? How many professional chefs want to work on an electric stove? I don't think there's a one out there. I'll be honest. Yeah, and then what happens? And there's blackouts. And you can't serve shit. At least we can go candlelight if we got the gas on. Cook all night long, as long as that gas is flowing. All night long. We'll have candlelight. We'll make it a nice little... We'll make the ambiance very beautiful and romantic and relaxing. Put out some candles. Change it up. You can't do that if the power's out and you can't cook. So... makes no sense. It's just, and all the people that tell me, I was laughing, like, oh, I got an electric car. I'm driving for free. Well, first off, you're not driving for free because you got ganked for that $20,000 markup at the minimum. So you're already still paying that car off, okay, that you think you're saving gas on. That's just first off. Second off, you got to find a place to steal electricity. And if not, then you got to actually go to a charger, wait 20 minutes, wait for your car to charge up, and actually get your credit card out, which is wild to me. You do realize you're paying to save time with the gas motor. And that was like, I really think the point. You can go way longer and save time. You know what I mean? And I get what you're saying. Well, I'm saving the world, but you really aren't. I mean, look what goes into mining those huge batteries. And we're still in its infancy in a sense where you have like this mass amount of electrical cars now on the road. What's going to happen in 10, 15 years when we have these giant batteries or the non-biodegradable just piling up everywhere? And I assure you, when you look at where they're getting the lithium for these batteries, it's not here. It's either in China, okay? It's either in Africa. It's not here. Not here. Okay? It's not much being produced here, I assure you. So, yeah, I just think that when you really boil it down and you look at it, it's not the way to go. If you want to make it your choice, go ahead, but don't force car makers by 2030 to stop making the gasoline motor. That should not be. That shouldn't be. Okay? I don't think so. It's a slow progression, okay? As we go, you're talking 50, 60 years as it phases out. You don't cut it out in 10 years and hope to just flip the switch. It doesn't work that way. See, these people are just completely reactive and not proactive. They don't think about what the fuck they're doing. Oh, come on, Stinks. Sorry, guys. So that's the problem. The goal is 2050. Well, good luck. I just think that's even being, a little optimistic. It's just too funny. You see Shell and you see all these companies you thought you were going to weed out, all these big oil companies and gas companies, and they're not being left out. Trust me, they're getting in it. They own those chargers in Europe already. Go to the Shell station, there's chargers in the back, get your credit card out, sit there 20 minutes. And what's going to happen in 10 years when there's more electrical cars and you got to sit and there's a 20-minute wait on the car that just pulled up and you're 2 cars back? Really? You're going to get a book out? You're going to get your phone out? I mean, really? That's wild to me. It's just fucking wild. Just fucking wild. Now, I get it if it was a 5-minute supercharger. Like it is, because that's about what it takes to fill up a tank, right? 5-7 minutes, pull up, open the tank, depending on how big they are, big ass truck. It takes some time. Your bill's $130 or something because your big ass tank. So if you could get the charge time to there, I'd say it's okay. And then you have a mass amount of chargers. See, and what I also hate to break it to is when you look at the city behind me, hate to break it to most people that don't live here, that I'm going to go out on a limb and say 85% of people do not live in homes, do not live in houses. Okay? They live in apartment buildings. Okay? Where, again, they, most of the time, don't even have a parking spot. Like, they literally got to drive around for 20 minutes at night to find one parking spot and just pray that somebody moves so they can get that spot just to park. So what's going to happen to those folks? Are you putting a charger on every block, on every spot? Then fools are going to like hoard the spot with the charger that doesn't have the spot that without the charger. I mean, think about it. Let's just think ahead for just a moment. What's that going to cost on every one of the almost 50,000 plus streets that are in, the city of Los Angeles? I mean, it's just ridiculous. And where's all the power coming from? Even if we could snap my fingers and just put all the chargers up, where's the power coming from? You got hamsters on a wheel? Definitely ain't got Stinks because he ain't running. He's just sleeping like he is now. Stupid. No, look, electric cars aren't stupid. It's a great idea in theory, and it will help the environment. But what is stupid is to think that you're going to switch it like that and to absolutely force car makers and other manufacturers of things to change course in such a rapid manner in such a short amount of time, and think that you're going to achieve your goal. What you need to do is just let it progressively happen. You know what I mean? And again, as you progress in the electrical field to where it's supercharging in 5 minutes, you have tons of chargers, it's pretty cheap for the cars. I'd think then you'd start to get a lot more folks who are driving gasoline motors to just want to come that way. Okay, now it makes sense. And now I can go 1,000 miles, or not 1,000, but 400 miles, 500 miles. Because I think there's one car now that can do 600 miles, but most don't. Most don't have that much on a charge. And I get it. For day-to-day usage, you're not driving but 20 miles. So I get it. But if you're talking long distances, which some people do long commutes, it's a bit much. So I don't know. There's two sides to every coin, right? And I just think, like I said, it's not a dumb idea in theory that they have. I just think the way they're implementing the idea is dumb. Does that make sense? That's it. All right, guys. I don't even know if they're coming back. So they're closed. They're at an executive closed this thing, and I got to get some packages out and stuff like that. So let me get Voltron out of here. Shout out to you guys. But yeah, we'll be live later tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you guys want to watch, it's LA City Clerk on YouTube. If you guys want to watch the rest of this, I can leave the link if you guys like. But I don't think much is happening. And yeah, that's all I'm saying. Just slow, and in 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when it starts to ease in, when the 20-year-olds are 50, that's when it'll start to make more sense. And hopefully they figure out a way to get more power. Because again, I don't see any way. They're not putting up windmills. How are they getting more power? Explain that to me really quickly. Anybody in the chat room? Do you see them spending any money on infrastructure to get more power? I see more chargers. That's not getting more power. That's the access to power to charge your car. But how are those powered? Because I believe some of those are powered by diesel gas. I want to say those chargers are powered by diesel. But I could be wrong. Nuclear energy, huh? You see them building new nuclear fission facilities? I haven't seen it. Hydrogen. Hydrogen's the answer. Okay. Well, they have hydrogen stations. That didn't really work out. Go on your Google map and find out how many hydrogen stations there are. Yeah. That went over like a fart in an elevator. Just saying, you got to remember, even if there was a perfect way to do something, the gas companies would probably have that woman or that man killed, for exploiting their profits. So I'm out of here, man. You guys have a great day. Hopefully you guys will join us tonight, like I said, at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please join us if you can, adjust to your time zones. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for everything. I appreciate you. Stinks and I are out of here, and you be good. And I'll see you guys, I guess, at 8 o'clock.
Hasta la vista, baby.
See you guys. I'm going home.
Bye, y'all.